WrestleMania 40 is in the books. Night 1 over. Night 2 finished. The story is finished. Cody Rhodes finishes the story. We no longer have to hear about the story. If you're not a Cody Rhodes fan, you should be happy. And if you have been waiting for Cody Rhodes to beat Roman Reigns and walk away with the undisputed WWE Championship, tonight was your night. And there were a couple of quotes on commentary when this pay-per-view was over that really struck a chord with me. Yeah, Corey Graves, who was talking about how pro wrestling is back. And you had Pat McAfee on commentary talking about how pro wrestling is beautiful. I cannot recall a weekend where we had this many references to professional wrestling on a WWE broadcast. I cannot tell you how many times we heard the words professional wrestling used together in a sentence in one weekend. And it is truly a beautiful thing. Because for the longest time, it was like a dirty word. You couldn't say wrestling, you couldn't say pro wrestling, or you were very limited in what you were allowed to say. And now the handcuffs are off and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You can actually call it what it is. And when pro wrestling is done right, pro wrestling is the best thing in the world. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. That's why we tune into shows like this. Going into the main event of WrestleMania tonight, we knew it was going to be Bloodline rules. So you knew there was going to be interference. You knew that there was going to be all kinds of smoke and mirrors and nonsense and interference and maybe ref bumps and weapons. But it was just a matter of, can we get to the destination that we need to get to? Cody Rhodes got pinned by The Rock on night 1 of WrestleMania last night. Cody Rhodes got pinned by Roman Reigns a year ago at WrestleMania in Hollywood. Cody Rhodes cannot walk into WrestleMania tonight and lose his 3rd straight main event without being killed off as a top babyface in this company. Not possible. It was do or die. It was now or never. Shit or get off the pot. Go with this guy, pass the torch, or move on to someone else. 1,316 days. That is how long Roman Reigns was the undisputed Universal Champion for. Not even undisputed, really, if you think about it. He was the Universal Champion for 1,316 days. He was only WWE Champion for 700-something days. But he is, as far as top champions in this company, one of the longest reigning in the history of WWE. 1,316 days as champion, over. 666 days as the Intercontinental Champion for Gunther, over last night. So now, in one weekend, the 2 longest running title reigns in WWE are now over in the same weekend. We can now look back on the reign of Roman Reigns now that it's over and think about it, and people will talk about where it ranks in history and everything else. And, I'm kind of conflicted myself when it comes to that, because while it sounds really impressive when you look at the body of work, he put on some tremendous matches during this reign. Roman's run will be up high on the list because the quality of his work speaks for itself. The majority of the matches that Roman Reigns were in, whether it was Drew McIntyre, whether it was Cody Rhodes last year, Cody Rhodes tonight, Logan Paul, Bryan Danielson, all the different people, Edge, that he defended that title against. Excellent match after excellent match. But when you only defend the title 5 or 6 times a year, it's hard to get excited. And we had reached a point in this Bloodline story and in this title run where it was about time we moved on to the next chapter. It was about time we moved on to something else. Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble. He punched his ticket to WrestleMania. And then The Rock decided, you know what? I feel like coming back. Cody, step aside. You'll get your moment some other time. And the fans, though, they didn't like that very much. Ooh, the fans did not like that at all. Fans rebelled. Fans actually booed The Rock. Something that you never thought you would see. And Triple H and The Rock, they all put their heads together and they decided, you know what? We're going to give the people what they want. We're going to listen to the crowd. We're going to give the people exactly what they are hoping for, which is Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns Part 2 at WrestleMania. What could have been a complete disaster of a creative decision, what would have been a massive fumble by WWE. I mean, talk about a self-own. If you take this great story and you decide to put it on the back burner for 6 months or for a year, what could have been bad, they managed to turn into something positive. What we got tonight, I can sit here and tell you as somebody who has seen every main event in the history of WrestleMania. Okay, there have now been 40 of these things. And there have been more than 40 main events because they've had 2 nights now for a few years. Of the 40 plus main events that we have had in WrestleMania history, tonight was the most fun that I have ever had sitting here watching a WrestleMania main event. We've had great wrestling matches before, and people can rank them and put them wherever they want to. Oh, this was the better match, that was the better match. All I can tell you is, I've never had more fun sitting here watching a match. What Triple H told everybody before they went out to the ring tonight, all the people in that main event that were involved, Cody and Roman and everybody else, he said, just go out there and have fucking fun. Not only did they go out there and have fun, the fans went, and they had fun watching that match. And what WrestleMania Night 1 was missing in terms of energy and in terms of excitement, Night 2 more than made up for it. Whatever you want to attribute that to, the warmer weather tonight, or maybe people just enjoyed the matches on Night 2 more than they did Night 1. WrestleMania Night 2 felt more like a WrestleMania than Night 1 did, and that main event had a lot to do with it. Bloodline rules meant that it would be overbooked as all hell. And I was here for it. You're going to have an overbooked main event, you got to do it upright. And there were multiple stories being told in this main event. We had Jimmy Uso coming out, getting involved. Here comes main event Jey Uso comes out. Spears his brother off the ramp, takes care of his bro, the Usos are out of the picture. Solo Sikoa shows up. And Solo Sikoa gave us a repeat of the spot that ended last year's main event, right? Gave people a fucking heart attack, probably. Samoan Spike. Roman Reigns covers Cody Rhodes. Not this time. And then we hear the trumpets. And here comes John Cena. Last time we saw him, he was put down by about 15 Samoan spikes. I lost count of how many Samoan spikes he took. Here comes John Cena down to the ring. He disposes of Solo Sikoa. Who does that leave? That leaves one more member of the Bloodline. That leaves The Rock. And here comes the final boss. Down to the ring. Sometimes you just got to take care of things yourself. And I was very much hoping that at that point, we would hear the glass shatter and we would get the Stone Cold Steve Austin cameo, which would have made just too much sense, given the history between him and The Rock. 25 years after their first WrestleMania main event in Philadelphia. The yin to his yang. I mean, those two, they go together. They're basically like Siamese twins, these two. Rock and Austin, right? The faces of an era in WWE. And we did not get Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, when I saw Triple H earlier today, he posted a tweet at exactly 3:16 p.m. on the dot. I was hoping that he wasn't just trolling us by doing that. I don't think he was necessarily trolling us, but unfortunately, we did not get Austin. Now, I'm seeing things about how either he was sick or his wife was sick, so there probably was a good reason why he wasn't there. I'm not blaming them for that, but that was honestly the only disappointing thing I could say about this main event, is that spot, which went to The Undertaker instead, should have gone to Stone Cold Steve Austin. That would have been just the chef's kiss. That would have been the cherry on top. And we didn't get that. But we did get The Undertaker showing up. He gave Rock a choke slam, and so that took care of him. And we ended up with a fair fight. Which is all Cody wanted in the first place, was just to get a fair shake against Roman Reigns. But you have all these little stories playing out. And maybe my favorite thing that they did in that main event actually involves Seth Rollins. And I'm not sure if Rollins is actually hurt or not. Rollins at the end of the show tonight looked like he was half dead. He was hobbling around. He could barely walk. He is no longer the World Heavyweight Champion. We'll talk about that. But Rollins came out in the main event dressed in his old Shield gear. Never laid a finger on The Rock. He never got to The Rock before Roman took him out with the Superman punch. But the part where Roman Reigns is standing in the middle of that ring in the main event, and Cody Rhodes is on one side of the ring and he's struggling to pull himself up by the ropes, has his back turned. Roman is about to hit him with a chair. Roman, though, turns and he sees Seth Rollins on the other side of the ring doing the same thing, struggling to pull himself up by the ropes. And Roman has to make a split-second decision here. He can take that chair and he can blast Cody in the head with it and he could keep his belt. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he opts for revenge over his own title. And the first thing I thought of, I swear to God, what it reminded me of, if you ever saw the movie, the Michael Mann movie Heat, which is just a fucking great movie. If you've never seen it, watch it. Came out in 95. First movie that had Pacino and De Niro in it together. Robert De Niro plays a character in that movie named Neil. And I'm not going to get into the particulars here, but he's a criminal. He's about to make a getaway at the end of the movie. If he just keeps driving, he'll get off scot-free, right? Free man. But he can't do it because he's got one last bit of business to tend to. He's got revenge to take on Wayne Grow. He's got to turn his car around and drive back to pop this guy, get his revenge, which he does, but in the end, it costs him. He got greedy, and he opted for revenge over freedom. And that's what it made me think of watching Roman Reigns out there tonight. He chose revenge over his title, and in the end, it cost him because he laid out Seth Rollins, but moments later, he was on his back, taking the pin, and Cody Rhodes finishes the story, and he is now the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. And it was yet another WrestleMania ending in the number 0. We have had a lot of babyface wins closing out WrestleManias that end in 0, but you got to think back to 30 years ago. 30 years ago, 1994, Madison Square Garden, Bret the Hitman Hart wins the WWE Championship, ushering in a new era that they referred to as the New Generation Era. This entire weekend was built around the idea of this being a new era. It's the Paul Levesque era. Triple H made it very clear. He made you aware of the fact this is his company and this is his era now. Creatively, he doesn't own the company, but this is his era. Last night and tonight made that very clear. From the opening signature of the show to the announcers flat out saying that it's the Paul Levesque era to the man's fucking wife opening the show tonight, Stephanie McMahon, saying it is the Paul Levesque era of WWE. It feels very similar. This new era talk, Bret Hart, the new champion, the face of this new era, as Cody is the face of this one, being hoisted up on the shoulders of the baby faces as they come to the ring to celebrate with him. And we got the exact same scene at the end of WrestleMania tonight with the baby faces coming into the ring, celebrating with Cody, putting him up on their shoulders. It was like a carbon copy, only it's 30 years later. Samantha Irvin is out there. She's getting emotional just making the announcement. Her voice is cracking as she's announcing Cody as the new champion. Michael Cole sounds like he's fucking weeping on commentary. And he's very close with Cody Rhodes. It's moments like this, watching that main event tonight, that make these shows so special. You get these moments every now and then, and we've gotten a few of them, especially when Sami Zayn was doing the Bloodline story. You get moments like that every now and then that just remind you of why pro wrestling can be great. Sometimes it can be absolute dog shit, but then you have moments like we had in that main event tonight that make it all worth it. And so now you're presented with the question, was it worth the wait? Was it worth it to have Cody Rhodes lose at last year's WrestleMania to get to this moment here tonight? Because to do that, you have to think, well, did Triple H always have it in his head that Cody was going to get the win at WrestleMania this year? Probably not. Probably not. Or that changed along the way because they were very willing to push Cody aside when The Rock said, hey, I'm going to come back. But you look where they ended up here. They ended up exactly where they needed to be. And it made for a great story. Do I still think that Cody could have won and should have won the title last year? Yes. Looking at the way it played out, though, am I happy with the way things ended up? You bet your ass I am. Because they still gave us a great story. They gave us the payoff in the end that they needed to give us, and Roman Reigns is no longer the champion. We no longer have an absentee champion who's only going to show up every now and then and defend the title 5 or 6 times a year. We have a full-time champion now, and that's important. You need to have somebody go out there and actually represent the show and be engaged in stories from week to week. You can only do so much with somebody who's only going to show up every now and then. The Bloodline has been a huge creative boon to this company now for 3.5 years. And the Bloodline is not over. Just because Roman Reigns lost tonight does not mean that the Bloodline is over. We'll see now what the next chapter holds on TV this week when Rock and Roman, I presume, show up either on Monday or on Friday. And we'll see where this story goes. There's reports now about Jacob Fatu telling people supposedly that he is signed to WWE. You would have to think that if he is, he would end up in the Bloodline. They can keep that story going for another year or more if they want to. So we'll see where that goes. All that matters is where you end up. Where they ended up was in exactly the right spot that they needed to be in. And I couldn't be happier with the finish that we got here to tonight's WrestleMania. Not one, but more than one. Not one, but actually three, technically, World Championship changes on this show tonight. Not only is Cody Rhodes the new undisputed WWE Champion, Seth Rollins is no longer the World Heavyweight Champion. Seth Rollins lost his World Heavyweight title to Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre had but only a few minutes to enjoy it before Damian Priest cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. He's been walking around with this thing now for months and months and months. And finally, he comes out, he cashes in, and with one South of Heaven chokeslam, he is now the new World Heavyweight Champion. 41 years old. Damian Priest becomes maybe the oldest man, maybe, to win his first World Heavyweight title. I know like DDP won his first world title later in life. I think he was maybe late 30s. Damian Priest is 41 years old. Damian Priest at one point in his life was homeless, living in the streets. To go from homelessness to World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania is a pretty good story. And so now he is the champion. CM Punk played a role in what happened with McIntyre, which we kind of figured that would happen. We also have a new WWE Women's Champion. Her name is Bayley, somebody who has been overlooked for far too long. When it came to the Charlotte Flairs of the world and her good friend Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair and all of these people that we have seen come along and be world champion and get their crowning moment at WrestleMania or maybe other events as well, Bayley was always the one who felt overlooked and underappreciated, taken for granted. And all of a sudden, this woman is getting her flowers, and it's a really cool thing to see. She won the Royal Rumble back in January. That was a huge moment. Would they give her the big payoff at WrestleMania? The answer is yes. Bayley got her moment at WrestleMania tonight. She is the new women's champion. There was a lot to like, a lot to love about night 2 of WrestleMania. Easily the stronger of the two nights. Basically the opposite of WrestleMania 39 last year, where night 1 was the far superior night. This year it was night 2. But when you take both nights together in totality and you look at it as one WrestleMania, it ended up being a very good WrestleMania overall here in 2024. This is your WrestleMania 40, night number 2 review here on the Solomonster Sounds Of YouTube channel. I am the Solomonster, and thank you so much. Thank you for joining me here late on a Sunday night as we close out the busiest weekend of the year. I am very happy that you are with me. You have chosen me for your WrestleMania coverage. We had a fucking great night last night here on the channel. Hopefully we can replicate that here tonight. Do me a favor, first and foremost, if you are not already subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. You'll see we have some new channel members here, including Lonnie. Shout out to him. You can become a channel member if you wish. Hit that like button. The goal tonight was 1,000 likes. I think we may have already broken it. I'll let you guys update me. I don't see it in front of me, but hit that like button. 1,000 likes minimum is what I'm looking for. Super chats are open. You will see them popping up on your screen. I thank you in advance for all of the support, and I will be reading your messages. What did you think of that main event? What did you think of WrestleMania 40? Which did you think was the stronger of the two nights? Chime in and let me know. There were no weather issues tonight. It was a balmy 61 degrees outside in Philadelphia with a light wind. The announcers did admit that they were freezing their asses off last night, and a lot of fans were freezing their asses off as well at Lincoln Financial Field, which probably had a little something to do with how quiet it was during a good chunk of night 1. But there were no issues tonight.
Look,
night 2 of WrestleMania opened not with Triple H as it did on night 1, but night 2 of WrestleMania opened with Stephanie McMahon coming out to a new remixed version of her theme song. Didn't think that we would get a McMahon on this year's show, but here we are. I did see that post, by the way, on Instagram. Apparently, Vince McMahon's trainer, his personal trainer, posted a little message that, poor Vince McMahon, he was not welcome at WrestleMania this year. He was not welcome at the show. So sad. Brings a tear to a glass eye. Talking about how, there would be no WrestleMania if it wasn't for this man. People would not be celebrating wrestling this weekend if it were not for him. There would be no wrestling if it were for... I mean, that's revisionist history for you. There'd be no wrestling right now were it not for Vince McMahon. Yeah, fuck him. Out with the old, in with the new. Stephanie comes down to the ring. She said that she was at the very first WrestleMania when she was 8 years old and felt privileged to be at every Mania since. She said this one was special because it was the first one of the Paul Levesque era. She said, "Are you ready?" She did her husband's "Are you ready?" intro and said that it was time to kick off night 2 of WrestleMania. The opening match was Seth Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. McIntyre got the bagpipe treatment at the beginning of his entrance before they played his music. I thought for a second they had raised Roddy Piper from the dead when I heard the bagpipes. Then we had a string band after McIntyre made his way out. We had a string band that performed on stage. The whole stage was just filled with people. It looked like Mardi Gras. And they were all just dancing around. And I guess they were kind of singing a version of Seth's theme song. And Seth Rollins came out wearing a wild outfit. I don't even want to attempt to describe what it was that he was wearing, other than to say it looked like something out of a Mardi Gras celebration. So all the band members followed him like a conga line down to the ring. They did a lap around the ring. All these, musicians did, and then they made their way back to the locker room. CM Punk joined on commentary for the match. He called Rollins a goof as soon as he walked out. First words out of his mouth, "What a goof," when he saw what he was wearing. He said Liberace was rolling in his grave. Liberace was at the very first WrestleMania. Rollins, he was not selling the leg either, I should mention that. At least at the beginning. He was not selling the leg that Rock and Roman were working over in the main event last night, because he was dancing his way on the way down to the ring. Seth Rollins, big smile on his face. Not really bothered by the loss last night, dancing down to ringside. Now, after the ring intros by Samantha Irvin, who, by the way, I didn't mention this, but I should. I think she did a great job on night 1 and night 2. Night 1, even she was affected by the weather last night. Like, her voice was, you could tell, like, in certain announcements last night, that the weather was affecting her voice. But I thought overall she did an excellent job, as she normally does. Now, as soon as the bell rang to signal the beginning of this match, Drew McIntyre dropped Rollins with a Claymore kick out of nowhere. Boom! Claymore. Down goes Seth Rollins, and they teased that the match was going to end right there. He covered Rollins, he went for a pin, everyone's standing up, and Rollins kicked out at 2.5. So that was a great near fall. That's how you start a world title match right there. Drew McIntyre is not getting paid by the hour. Drew McIntyre gets paid a wage, and whatever that wage is, I'm sure it's a very good wage, but he gets paid whether he wrestles for 10 seconds or 10 minutes or an hour. It doesn't matter. And he has tried and failed to win the World Heavyweight title now for months on end. And he is going to take full advantage of the opportunity that he has. So he tried to close this out very early, and it did not work out. So they ended up on the floor, and McIntyre gave him an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Rollins got a hell of a rotation on this thing before he landed on the floor. So then McIntyre goes over to, his wife is in the front row. And McIntyre walks over to his wife and grabs, it was either his phone or her phone that had him logged into his Twitter account. Probably his phone. And he takes his phone and he types something and then he hands it back to her. So then I just said, I'm going to go on his Twitter. I'm curious. And sure enough, I go on his Twitter page and he tweeted during the match, he goes, "Bored at work, LOL." Here in the middle of this World Heavyweight title match. So Rollins hit a pedigree on the floor, and finally he starts to sell the knee, right? Because he came down straight on the knee. McIntyre beat the referee's count back into the ring, immediately got hit by a stomp, but he kicked out when Rollins covered him at 2.5. Rollins set up for another pedigree. McIntyre, though, backdropped him, and after a back-and-forth exchange, McIntyre hit a neck breaker. He kipped up, and he went into the corner, and he begins to count down. He goes for a Claymore. Rollins, though, when he comes in, he scoops him up in a powerbomb position and drops him. Rollins then hits another pedigree, and then another stomp, only gets a near fall. Both men avoided some big moves from each other. McIntyre then drops Rollins with a Future Shock DDT. And CM Punk winces at ringside because that is the move where he injured his arm. In the Royal Rumble, it was on a Future Shock DDT. McIntyre turned his attention at that point to Punk, and he starts to signal for the GTS. Punk said that McIntyre was signaling that he was putting the crowd to sleep. McIntyre hoisted Rollins up, but he countered into an inside cradle for 2. Drew shot up, and he hit Rollins with another Claymore kick and another close near fall, but Seth kicks out. Now McIntyre is getting very frustrated. Now he's trying to figure out, what do I have to do to put this guy away? He rolls out to the floor, and he clears off, or starts to clear off the announce desk. And CM Punk is talking about how, doubt must be creeping into his mind, and he can't get the job done in the ring, so he has to resort to using furniture. McIntyre gets Rollins out to ringside, sets up for a powerbomb through the desk. Rollins fights out of it, ends up on top of the table, and then he super kicks Drew from the table. Rollins then goes and clears off the Spanish announce table. And he runs across the Spanish announce table, stomps McIntyre on the English announce desk. Rollins sends him back inside. But then he got drilled as he got back in with another Claymore kick. Covers him, only gets a near fall out of it. McIntyre is seething in the corner while he's waiting for Rollins to get up. He blasts him with one final Claymore kick, and he covers Seth Rollins and gets the pin to win the World Heavyweight Championship. It felt a little abrupt because they only went 10 minutes, for this world title match. You would think it would go a little bit longer. Only went 10 minutes, clearly because they had something else planned here when it was over. But it was a sprint. It wasn't that long, but it was a sprint. I thought it was a very good match, a damn good match. And for the first time in his life, he's a 3-time world champion, but for the first time, Drew McIntyre wins a world title in front of actual people. Think of where we were 4 years ago. Right? I was sitting right here talking to you after WrestleMania in a warehouse where there were no people. The entire world was shut down, and Drew McIntyre had a 4-minute match with Brock Lesnar in front of one person. That was Paul Heyman standing outside the ring. It sucked. And it sucked for him, because that was going to be a huge moment for him, and it was taken away from him. 4 years later, he gets his moment. As a heel, but he gets his moment. Now, McIntyre is getting a little emotional. He's on his knees in the ring. He's looking up at the referee. The referee hands him the World Heavyweight title. Drew goes outside the ring, and actually, before he leaves the ring, he looks over, and Rollins is outside. And Seth Rollins is very emotional. He's actually crying. And he's looking up at McIntyre, and he said something to him. I couldn't read the words. It was almost like he was saying, you better, honor that belt and carry that belt with pride. It was something like that, but we couldn't actually see what his words were. But this man lost his title and showed real emotion. And I like that, because we've had people that have lost their title over the years, and then they come out on TV the next night or the next week, and you would never know they lost their title. So he was showing genuine emotion here, this Seth Rollins character was, that he lost his World Heavyweight Championship. Now, at that moment, I decided to jump on Twitter. I was very happy for Drew McIntyre. And I said, McIntyre gets a deserving win in front of actual people. The man has been putting in the best work of his career over the last 6 months. Little did I know that I was tweeting a little too soon, because we weren't done yet. So McIntyre goes outside, and he has a moment with his wife. He actually hands her the title, and then he takes it back. And then he turns and he sees CM Punk sitting at the announce desk in his suit. And he walks over to the announce desk, crawls on the table right in front of Punk. And Punk says, "Congratulations," right? He's applauding him. "Good job. Congrats. Now you can go take selfies on the internet with your new belt." McIntyre starts talking to him. It was a little hard to hear what he was saying. Even Punk said, I can't hear what you're saying. I've got a headset on. But McIntyre did say it was his moment. Punk said, yes, it is. So why are you getting all up in my face right now? What is this? Why are you bothering me? Why are you getting up in my face? I feel like this is a recreation of the video that we're going to see on Wednesday. So McIntyre holds the title up in Punk's face. He looks over at the cameraman. He goes, get a good shot of this. I want this framed on my wall as I hold this title over this man's head. Now McIntyre goes and he gives Punk a one-handed crotch chop. And Punk's just sitting there, right? He's giving the guy a crotch chop right in his face. Well, Punk has had enough. And Punk stands up. He grabs McIntyre by the foot and he sweeps his legs out from under him. And Drew takes a bump on top of the table. So here we have another example in a long line of examples of CM Punk assaulting one of his co-workers outside the ring. This man needs to be stopped. He is a menace. Punk stands up and he rips the arm brace off. He had the brace still on the injured arm. He pulls the brace off. And when McIntyre gets to his feet, he blasts him in the head, but he really hit him in the shoulder, but hits him with the brace. And down goes Drew McIntyre. And then he looks over at Drew's wife in the front row and he blows her a kiss. Just like when he won the world title in 2011 at Money in the Bank, he blew a kiss to Vince and he left up into the crowd. So he blew a kiss to his wife. Then all of a sudden we hear the Judgment Day's theme song. We had a Judgment Day interruption here. And Punk turns and he looks at the aisle. Here comes Damian Priest. He's got the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's got a referee with him. And they are sprinting down to the ring. Everybody, of course, is all excited now. They're losing their minds. Priest circles around the ring. McIntyre's up. And he blasts Drew in the head with the briefcase. And he's very frenzied. And he goes, here, I'm cashing in, right? Samantha Irvin was so excited by this. And it's kind of endearing, I guess, because she very much gets into these shows. And she very much gets into some of these angles. She did it in the main event. I said, like, you could tell her voice was cracking when she was announcing Cody as the new champion. And here she was very excited. You could tell just by the sound of her voice. So she announces that he is cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. The bell sounds. Priest hits McIntyre with the biggest South of Heaven chokeslam. And Drew McIntyre is a big dude. Hits him with the biggest South of Heaven that I've ever seen. Covers him, pins him, and just like that, in a matter of moments, we have, yet again, a new World Heavyweight Champion. So we had 2 title changes in the span of only a few minutes. Here he pins McIntyre in under 10 seconds. Priest immediately takes the belt. He runs back up the ramp onto the stage. Punk, meanwhile, is sitting on top of the announce desk, cross-legged. Big smile on his face. Very happy by what he just saw. Applauding. And Priest was joined on stage by all of his fellow Judgment Day members. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dominic, Rhea Ripley. And celebrated with them. As hot of an open to a WrestleMania as you will ever see. With the opening match, like I said, it felt like a sprint. New world champion. Boom, the Punk attack. Boom, here comes Priest. Money in the Bank cash in, new champion. I don't know that there's ever been as hot of a open to a WrestleMania show, just in terms of all the different things that were going on here. And the crowd was into everything here. They were super excited for what they were seeing. I loved the quick start with the Claymore kick into the false finish. I thought that was great. That's a good way to grab your attention. The match itself was very good. I was glad McIntyre got his moment, even if it was just a fleeting one. He'll hold that title again, but he got a brief moment here at WrestleMania, at least. And I'm also glad that Damian Priest finally cashed in. You know, they have milked this Money in the Bank gimmick. And not just with him. I feel like just in general. They have milked this Money in the Bank gimmick until the cow is dry. The cow has no more milk. And I personally would love it if they kind of gave the whole gimmick a rest. I know they're not going to, but Priest himself has tried to cash in before. He's been kicked in the head. He's been foiled. He's been made to look like an idiot. Why wouldn't he cash in here? Why wouldn't he cash in there? So finally, he gets rid of the stupid briefcase. Now he's got the World Heavyweight title. as soon as he and Balor lost the tag titles in the ladder match last night, I knew. I mean, I knew even before that, when I did my predictions on Thursday, I said, we're going to get a cash in. They're going to drop the belts on night 1. He's going to cash in successfully on night 2. And that's exactly how it played out here. Now, the only difference is I thought that Rollins was going to win against McIntyre when Punk did something to cost Drew. So I thought Rollins was going to actually retain, and then Priest would cash in and win the World Heavyweight title. So I basically predicted this, sequence of events. I just had the kind of the final person wrong. But I knew when this was all over, Damian would have the belt. And again, 41 years old, I think he becomes, if not the oldest, certainly one of the oldest to ever win a world title for the first time in his career. Now we look ahead to June 15th. WWE is doing a pay-per-view called Clash at the Castle. They're bringing it back. They're doing it in Glasgow this time. So that Drew McIntyre is going to play a pretty big role on that show. That could very well be where he wins the world title back for good, because I do think he'll get the belt back soon. And it could be there. If Punk is cleared, now Punk got physical here, but he didn't do anything overly physical. He didn't pick up McIntyre to do a GTS. He didn't, he wasn't really using the arm. He was kicking him. So I'm not sure that he is medically cleared or would be cleared to do anything strenuous. He's probably still a few months away. How many months, I don't know. If he's able to be back in time for Clash at the Castle, there's your match right there. You do McIntyre and Punk in Glasgow. But if not, that could be where McIntyre wins the world title. Punk comes back, and now he's got to chase McIntyre, and it could be for the World Heavyweight Championship. So there's a few different ways they can go with this. But this was great. This was great stuff, I thought. Hot start to the show. Welcome to everybody who is joining me here, all 4,300 of you and counting. We are live here on a Sunday night talking about WrestleMania night number 2, which was better than WrestleMania night number 1. As you could tell by my level of enthusiasm here for night 2 as compared to night 1. We had Bobby Lashley against the Street Profits. Or Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I just named a new WrestleMania match. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits taking on Karrion Kross and AOP, the Final Testament. Samantha Irvin introduced Snoop Dogg as the special guest commentator for the match. And then we got another special appearance. We got a Bully the Clown appearance. Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley, was announced as the surprise guest referee. I still call him Bully Ray, but Bubba Ray Dudley announced as the special guest referee here for this Philadelphia street fight. How appropriate here in Philadelphia that we would have a Bubba Ray cameo. It makes sense. And the people in the stadium were very happy to see him. So he got a nice reaction. Kross and AOP, they attacked the babyfaces with kendo stick shots. Kross tried a cover. B-Fab, though, hit him with a kendo stick. Scarlett hit B-Fab with a trash can. They technically were not in the match, but since it's a street fight, it doesn't really matter. You could have anybody in there that you want to. The Bloodline could have interfered in this match. It really doesn't matter. There's no rules. So Lashley gave Kross a flatliner while the Street Profits took AOP outside the ring. Montez Ford hit a big-ass flip dive out over the corner ring post. Almost landed in the front row. I mean, this guy got some distance on this dive. Wiped out the heels. Lashley gave Kross a spine buster on a chair. And Lashley applied the hurt lock. Scarlett, though, hit him with a kendo stick. B-Fab knocks her down with a pump kick. They end up on the apron. And I could see they were trying to position themselves just right. And B-Fab gives Scarlett a Russian leg sweep from the apron through a table down below. Of course, she puts herself through a table in doing that. So now both women are wiped out. Kross hit Lashley with a Saito suplex for 2. Kross was not happy with Bubba. I guess he thought maybe the count was not quick enough. He gets up in Bubba's face and gives him a little shove. Bubba reaches into his back pocket and he pulls out his little red nose. No, I'm kidding. He pulls out the old Dudley Boy glasses. And he puts the glasses on and gets a big pop. Kross turns around right into a spear by Lashley. So Lashley and Ford, they held down Cross. The spot was that Dawkins was going to hit a Devon Dudley wazza off the top rope, which he did. So off the top to the nuts. Bubba then called for them to get the tables. So the Street Profits go outside and they get a table and they bring the table into the ring. And the spot was that they were going to place Karrion Kross on top of the table, lay him out, right? The only problem is that the table broke. Oops. Well, when the table breaks, what do? You know they got 15,000 of those things under the ring. So the Profits go right back outside. They pull out another table, slide it into the ring. Montez Ford climbs back into the ring, and he begins to light up Karrion Kross with a kendo stick. My God, these shots. You would think that Karrion Kross made a pass at his wife. He was lighting him up with that stick. Maybe he was pissed off about the botched table spot. I don't know. But he goes up to the top rope, and Ford comes off with a frog splash. That puts Kross through the table, and Bobby Lashley gets the cover to win the match for the Pride. So in a lot of ways, it was your standard WWE hardcore match, but it was fun. It was more fun than I was expecting it to be. I thought the match was good. I thought the addition of Bubba in Philly, the fans loved it. I thought that was fine. And so this was fun. This was exactly what it needed to be. Kayla Braxton was interviewing Paul Heyman in the back. She asked what Bloodline rules entailed for the main event tonight. And he said that Bloodline rules means whatever the hell we want it to mean. He said the match would only end when one man walked out the winner and the other man went home to his wife, Brandy. So there you go. Brandy, of course, was not at home. Brandy was at the stadium tonight, as we would see later on. Shout out to everybody joining me live. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you would. We are looking for at least 1,000 likes for Be the Booker, and if we are beyond that, let's see if we can do 1,100, and then 1,200. Let's see if you guys are actually a better audience than last night. Last night, they got us up pretty high. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are quite as strong. I guess we'll find out. But hit that like button. Now, coming up next, we had LA Knight taking on AJ Styles, who is yoked. AJ is as big as I've ever seen him. He really is. He's in the best shape of his career. How old is he now? 45? 46? 5 years ago, I was in the crowd at WrestleMania 35. And AJ Styles had a match on that show with Randy Orton that I was looking forward to. Unfortunately, I missed 95% of the match because there was a giant fucking light that was shining right in everyone's eyes, at least in my section. I think it was multiple sections in the stadium. So I couldn't see what was going on. Couldn't even see the screen. Apparently, we had history repeat itself here in Lincoln Financial Field, and it just so happened to be during another AJ Styles match, where there were multiple sections that were being blinded by the light. I don't know at what point they may have turned the light off, but I just thought it was funny that it happened again during an AJ Styles match. Speaking of AJ, he came out. There was some murmurs about him possibly having new entrance music, and I was kind of hoping that wasn't the case. Well, he does have new entrance music, and I didn't get to hear a lot of it because he raced. I mean, he wasn't running the whole length of the ramp, but as he came down the ramp, he started sprinting to the ring. Before Samantha Irvin was even done with her ring introduction for him, he was already brawling with LA Knight. But what little I heard of his new entrance music, it was not an upgrade from the old theme song. Maybe I'll get used to it. But I was not impressed. So AJ immediately went after Knight's knee. Knight came back with a tornado DDT. Knight placed AJ on the top turnbuckle, chopped him before joining him on the ropes. Knight went for a superplex. AJ slipped underneath and tripped him, which caused Knight's head to hit the top turnbuckle. AJ went to the ropes. Oh no. Bree mode, oh God, has been activated. Hey, Creflo $50, thank you very much for the $25 Bree mode. Wouldn't be WrestleMania weekend without some Bree mode, huh? Hey, Quentin Smith, thank you for the sub. You get a shout out here if you subscribe here on the channel. on the screen. I'm not going to be able to see all of them, but you'll get them on screen. So Knight cut him off on the ropes and hit him a whole bunch of times, and then he started biting AJ on the forehead. Styles gouged his eyes, and LA Knight dropped off the ropes. Knight, though, did his vertical leap that he does, that running vertical leap, and he lands on the top rope, and he executes an avalanche German suplex, takes AJ all the way up and over, crawls over, goes for the cover, only gets a near fall. Now, Styles rolled Knight right into a calf crusher, and he's wrenching back on the leg. Eventually, LA Knight is able to make it to the ropes to break the hold. AJ goes back to work on the left knee, and he's slamming it into the ring post, and he lowers LA Knight's knee pad, and he runs the knee, the exposed knee, into the post. Styles grabs Knight's legs, and then Knight used his legs and the momentum to yank AJ forward, so he goes face first into the ring post. Now, Knight goes to the floor, and he starts to pull up the ringside mat. And I'm thinking, oh boy, he's going WrestleMania 3 here, right? This is like Hogan Andre. When Hogan pulled up the mats, if you remember the immortal genius that is Hulk Hogan in that WrestleMania 3 main event, where he was trying to, what was he going to do? Pile drive Andre on the concrete. Apparently, he thought he could pile drive this man. And then Andre proceeded to give him the worst, slowest back body drop, safest back body drop that I have ever seen in my life, right? I guess safety first. So anyway, he pulls up the ring mats outside, and it looks like he's going to try to pile drive AJ on the floor. But instead, he gets backdropped onto the exposed floor. Styles gets back into the ring. He tells the referee to count. LA Knight ends up beating the count at the very last and when I say very last moment, I mean very last moment. Dives back into the ring, breaks the count. Styles goes for a springboard 450. Knight, though, gets the knees up right into the midsection. So they have a back and forth exchange. Knight gets the better of it. AJ ducks a punch, hits the Pele kick. AJ goes for a springboard move. LA Knight moves out of the way. Styles avoids a BFT. Knight then avoids a Styles Clash attempt. Styles sets up for another springboard move. I assume the phenomenal forearm, but we'll never know because he got cut off by LA Knight, who followed up with a BFT, and he scored the win with his finishing move, just like that. BFT, 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming. And LA Knight notches his first win at WrestleMania of his career. I thought that they might give it to AJ here. I thought there was a decent chance that AJ would go over because they might want to extend this and rematch them at Backlash. And that could very well still happen. We could get this again, even though LA Knight won. I like that AJ went right after him at the very beginning of the match. You know, they've really built this up as a grudge match. They shot a pretty good angle at Fan Access or whatever they're calling it these days. WWE World, where they got into a brawl the other day and had to be separated. So they tried to put a little more heat on this match here. And it was a good match. In fact, I will say that I thought, and you guys can chime in and tell me if I'm crazy, but I thought this was the best match, like actual match in front of actual fans, that AJ Styles has had at WrestleMania since 33 in Orlando against Shane McMahon. Which I think is a fair thing to say. The Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36, I love that. That probably is my favorite AJ match of any kind. But as far as an actual wrestling match, I put this up there with the Shane match, I think, is AJ's best of all the ones he's had going back to the Jericho match in Mania 32. 34 was disappointing with Nakamura. 35, I didn't even fucking see. As I mentioned, barely even saw it with Randy Orton at 35. And some of the other matches he's had, the one with Edge, I don't remember that being that great. So yeah, I put this pretty high up on the list for me. Now the question is, what's next for LA Knight? Hopefully the United States Championship sometime in the next several months. We need to move this man into a program for at least a secondary belt. All right, he may not be the world champion yet, but at least move him into contention for the US title or the IC title or something. If he stays on SmackDown in the draft, it would be the US title. That's where I hope he's headed as we go into SummerSlam. They aired an advertisement for the May 24th edition of SmackDown coming to Saudi Arabia for the very first time. They're doing SmackDown in Saudi on a Friday, and then the next day on Saturday, it is WWE King and Queen of the Ring. That is May 25th. Naturally, I will not be here that weekend because we have back-to-back House of Glory shows that Friday and Saturday, so I will be missing the King and Queen of the Ring, unfortunately. But that is the next Saudi show coming up. Yeah, we're going to be in New York on Friday, and then the next day we're going to be in Boston. So I will be out of pocket that weekend. But they were going to do King and Queen of the Ring last year, and then plans changed, and obviously they are reviving it. And this will be the first King of the Ring that they have done in a few years. First Queen of the Ring, before it was called the Queen's Crown. But as far as Queen of the Ring, this will be the first one. King of the Ring, though, it's been a few years. So next up, we got a Hall of Fame video package. Shout out to James Parker for the sub. I salute you, sir. We got a Hall of Fame video. They brought out all of this year's inductees out onto the stage. And they introduced them one by one. We had the U.S. Express, which included Mike Rotunda unzipping his jacket to reveal a Bray Wyatt t-shirt underneath with the moth. I don't remember if it's a moth or a butterfly. I think it's a moth. The moth symbol on his shirt, which was very cool. Thunderbolt Patterson was on stage in his wheelchair along with Gerald Briscoe, his former tag team partner. Bull Nakano was on stage. Leah Maivia was obviously not there because she's no longer with us, but her daughter, The Rock's mom, Atta Johnson, was out on stage to stand in for her. Muhammad Ali, obviously not there. Neither was his wife, so they just acknowledged him. There was nobody there for him. And the one person who got an entrance was the headliner for this year's Hall of Fame, Paul Heyman.
Look, everyone, it's Samoa Bro.
A shout out to Fire Panda. Paul Heyman came out with the WWE Undisputed title. Came out to his ECW theme music, the official ECW song, which was very cool. It was cool to hear that at the Hall of Fame the other night. And it was cool when he put on the jacket and the headset and the hat. I said, it was almost like a time warp, We went back 20 years when he was cutting that work shoot promo on Vince McMahon on SmackDown.
Look, everyone, it's Samoa Bro.
Hey, Nick Grasso, thank you for the $19.99. Thank you to everybody dropping super chats. We're going to be going through your messages here in a little bit, so I thank you for the overwhelming support here so far tonight.
Richie Rich
oh boy,
over here dropping all this money.
Oh
on
boy,
me.
I spoke too soon.
I just want you to know, I think you rock.
It's Potato
I don't
Pony.
mean The Rock, A-Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Potato Pony. $100 dropping the big bucks super chat. Potato Pony wants to be pretty high up there on the list. Oh boy, it's the Judgment Day. You're a little late. We already had the Judgment Day earlier in the stream. You missed it. I may have to change that and put Punk in there instead of Triple H. I'm going to see if I can find that meme. Maybe we'll swap that out. But let's talk about this U.S. title match. It was Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against not one but two men, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. The champion, of course, does not need to be pinned to lose his title. He entered first. Beside the stage, there was a truck that was this gigantic truck. I don't know how long this truck was, but it was pretty fucking long. And it had all the Prime branding on it. So the truck drove out right beside the stage, and then Logan climbed onto the stage and made his entrance. He had the giant bottle of Prime mascot with him, as he did at last year's WrestleMania. So the bottle of Prime came down to the ring with him again. Last year it was KSI in costume. Kevin Owens was shown walking through the backstage area. Sami Zayn, with his newly won Intercontinental title, was there waiting for him just outside the gorilla position. And he said, "It's your turn now." He said, "Go get him." Hyping up his friend, firing up Kevin Owens the same way Kevin Owens did to him when he was going out for his match with Gunther last night. So Owens walked out onto the stage. He took one look at the giant Prime truck down below, and he went to the back. 20 seconds later, he comes back out on a golf cart and drives the golf cart down the ramp to the ring. Now, Randy Orton's theme music starts. And Owens decides to back up the entire length of the ramp, back up onto the stage. Orton's walking out. Orton sees this and has to jump to the side. He's like, what the fuck, dude? So Owens says, hey, come on in. I'll give you a lift. And Orton thinks about it. He's like, all right. So instead of sitting next to him in the golf cart, he stands on the back of it and he holds on. It's a good thing he did, because Owens basically gunned it down to the ring, to the point where if you go back and watch, Orton, he's got like a smile on his face, but he's like, slow down, dude, slow down. Can you imagine if he lost control of the golf cart and you've got these two guys barreling down to ringside at fucking 45 miles an hour in the stupid golf cart, it turns over. Orton breaks his leg. Owens breaks his arm. Logan Paul's just standing there like, well, I guess I win by automatic decision, huh? Yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been very bad. So Paul tried to pit the two of them against each other. It did not work. Owens and Orton have been very nice to each other. They've been too nice to each other on TV in the build-up to this match. So they were working together here early on. They were beating him up for a while, taking turns. And then finally, Owens, they try to go to a cover at the same time, right? But only one person can win. Now, here we go. And Owens tries to reason with him, and Orton seems to be in agreement. And of course, Orton then tries to hit him with an RKO, and he shoves him off. And now Owens is annoyed because he thought that they had an understanding here. So then they say, you know what? Why don't we just start fighting now? And then they start trading fists. Logan Paul, though, he knocks him down with a double buckshot lariat. He was waiting for them on the apron, takes them both down. So the crowd chanted Gatorade at Logan Paul to piss him off, since he's Mr. Prime. So they chanted Gatorade. I think that at one point it sounded to me like there was also a chant of we want water, or we like water. So they were chanting all kinds of shit at Logan. Owens tried a diving senton. Logan got his knees up, though. Paul hit a diving senton of his own, and then immediately popped up and hit a standing splash on Orton for 2. Paul and Orton, they traded uppercuts. Logan got the better of it. Orton poked him in the eyes. Orton then clotheslined Owens, and he hit a power slam. Logan tried a springboard move. Orton, though, grabbed him and hit a power slam. Orton then hit the two of them with a draping DDT, double draping DDT. Then Owens super kicked both men. Owens hit Orton with a code breaker while falling onto Logan with a senton. Owens gave Logan a package power slam off the ropes and then hit a picture-perfect moonsault off the top rope for a 2 count. This thing was a thing of beauty. Orton blocked a pop-up powerbomb attempt. He ended up hitting an RKO on Owens, only got a near fall out of it. I actually thought that Owens kind of kicked out a little too easily on that RKO. So then Logan punched Orton with the brass knucks, because it's all legal in a triple threat match. Orton, though, kicked out when he covered him. Paul knocked Owens out with the knucks as well. He tried another punch with the knucks. Orton this time countered into the RKO. But he could not capitalize right away for the pin. And instead, Randy Orton decides to grab the knucks. And he is contemplating using them, but, he's a babyface now, and so he thinks better of it. He takes them off, and he hands the knucks over to the referee. Please. If that were me, I would have nut-shotted this guy with those brass knucks 15 times. There'd be nothing left. It would be nothing. It would be just a fucking sack of, a fucking sack filled with blood. There's a vision for you. 15 nut shots with fucking brass knucks, whatever it takes to win the championship. The title is on the line. You do what you need to do. It's no disqualification. Take some barber shears if you have to and cut that shit off. So anyway, he gives the brass knucks to the referee. Orton, though, he opts to set up for a punt kick instead. But the giant bottle of Prime outside the ring drags Logan out of the ring to safety. So now Randy Orton goes outside. And the bottle of Prime it's like almost like a window. Like, open the window, you could see through the costume, like who's behind the mask. And he pulls the mask away, and we are told that it is I Show Speed. Now, I Show Speed is a YouTuber with 23 million subs, which, by the way, you guys can help me get there. We're a little bit off from 23 million, but I think we have a shot. We might be able to get there tonight if we have enough people hit the subscribe button. So we're only a little bit behind I Show Speed. But yes, 23 million subscribers on YouTube. I've never heard of him before, so I had to look him up. I'm sorry I did. Evidently, the thing that he is most well known for is accidentally showing his dick on one of his YouTube streams. I guess I Show Dick is probably a better name. So anyway, that's who was in the costume. So now this guy, I Show Speed, he starts barking, like literally barking at Randy Orton. And he starts cussing at him. And he's dropping F-bombs left and right, and the censors are trying to, block it, and they're not doing a very good job of it. So he's dropping F-bombs on Orton. And Randy Orton proceeds to boot him to the ground hard, to the point where this man went sliding across the floor. He put a little something extra on that kick, did Randy Orton. I fucking howled when I saw this. So then he goes over, he pulls the costume off this guy, and he drags him up on top of the announce desk, and then Orton proceeds to bark right back at him. He goes woof, 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 and then he gives him an RKO on top of the announce desk. And I Show Speed is dead. He's laid out. That is the last that we saw of him. That is the last that we heard from him. I guess, back to the pound with him. Back in the ring, Owens gave Paul a pop-up powerbomb and then stunned Orton for a near fall. Owens tried a pop-up powerbomb, but Orton countered into an RKO. Logan quickly chucked Orton out of the ring. He went up top, and he hit the biggest fucking frog splash I've ever seen in my life. The height that this guy got on that frog splash would make Montez Ford blush. Montez Ford might be the only guy who can get as much or greater height than what Logan Paul got here. Lands on Kevin Owens, and he pins him 1-2-3 to retain the U.S. title. Not a lot of suspense here, because I didn't expect Logan to lose the championship the minute they made this a triple threat match. And frankly, even if they didn't, even if it was just one-on-one with Orton and Logan, which is what I thought it was going to end up being, I just never really seriously thought that he was going to drop the belt here. So you take that kind of dramatic element away from it, it was still a very good match. I thought it was a very strong match. It's another very strong Logan Paul match and a string of really good matches that this man has had. Look at last year's WrestleMania, right? Against Seth Rollins. They had an excellent match. So I enjoyed it, but I do wonder if the Prime mascot, if this is going to become like what Pete Rose and Kane did for a while, where that went on for a few years. And I wonder if this is going to become the new thing every year at WrestleMania. There'll be somebody new, somebody different in the costume every year. Last year it was KSI. Here it was I Show Speed. I'm sure one of these years it'll be Jake Paul in the costume. Maybe that'll be the new thing. But now, Logan Paul, still United States champion. LA Knight beat AJ Styles. Never a better time to start AJ Styles. He can go off and do his own thing. They don't have to continue things with him in LA Knight. LA Knight, Logan Paul, put them together, let them start a program. If it's not SummerSlam, look, they could do this coming out of WrestleMania. They don't even have to wait until August. You can start now. You can have a whole series of matches between these two guys. You can even have Logan Paul win the first one. LA Knight wins the rematch. He wins the title. I just think the back and forth between them, I think the social media stuff, the promos, all of that would be very strong with those two. I think they can make it a very entertaining feud. So I'm hoping that's the direction that they go in. We'll see. But I think that U.S. title ultimately is going to end up around the waist of LA Knight. Speaking of titles, that brings us to our next championship match here. Not our last one, though. This was the penultimate championship match on this show. It was Bayley challenging Io Sky, her former Damage Control stablemate, for the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley had an Egyptian-themed entrance. where she was basically carried out to the ring, or not to the ring, but carried out on stage by 4 men. Corey Graves on commentary noted that there is an Egyptian museum, or there was, in the Bay Area where Bayley grew up. So Bayley hit a suicide dive early in the match, and upon landing, she sold her leg. Solomonster in the Prime suit next year. How am I going to do that if I'm supposed to be here reviewing the pay-per-view for you? I can't be in the costume if I have to be here to do my stream. You got to think about these things. Hey, Adrian, thank you for the super chat. CM Punk has banned you from Collision. I bet you didn't know he still had that power, but he does. So Bayley hit a suicide dive, sells the leg. She came up lame. And Michael Cole brought up on commentary the fact that she had an ACL injury that kept her out of action for a very long time. And so that became the target for Io Sky. She applied a leg lock on the apron. Sky worked her over until Bayley threw her into the timekeeper's area. Io tried to dive off the barricade. Bayley, though, countered into a spine buster on the floor. So Io fought back, hit a moonsault outside to the floor. Bayley came back with a sunset flip powerbomb into the bottom turnbuckle. The back of her head smacked the bottom turnbuckle. Io then hit a German suplex, rolled through, hit another German. Bayley got her knees up on a moonsault attempt, but unfortunately for her, that only hurt her own knee. So she starts selling the knee again. Bayley then fought through the pain, and she went for her flying Randy Savage elbow drop. Io, though, dodged it and applied a crossface. Bayley was able to escape, hit a back elbow, but Io caught her in the crossface once again. Bayley tried to get a rope break, so Io caught her in an STF. Bayley fought out of it, hit a Bayley to belly, only got a near fall. So they traded strikes until Io hit a backbreaker and a moonsault. Io hit consecutive moonsaults, but Bayley was able to dodge a third moonsault attempt, and she tried a rose plant. Io countered out of it. Very impressive, actually, because if you know the rose plant, it's basically like a front face driver into the mat. And so she does the motion for the rose plant. It looks like she hit the move, but instead, Io just flips over onto her feet and is posing for the crowd. Bayley comes right back, though, and hits a clothesline, and then the flying elbow drop, and then finally she hits the rose plant to win the championship. Bayley finally gets her flowers. It's been a while since Bayley got her flowers, but she got them here tonight at WrestleMania. She gets her moment. She had a moment at the Royal Rumble, and it was very cool to be there for that moment. The crowd, even though she was a heel, was very happy and popped huge when she won that Royal Rumble match. But Bayley was a heel for 5 years. It's been a while since she has played the role of babyface, and this is not the old pigtail, wacky, wailing, inflatable tube man Bayley from NXT. Because she had to evolve from that, right? You either evolve or die. That gimmick was only going to last for so long. But she was a heel for 5 years, so it was time to freshen things up and turn her babyface. And the fans have really taken to her, and they were very happy to see her win. Big reaction to the title win here at the end of this match. She always felt, the word I used at the beginning of the stream was overlooked. Underappreciated and overlooked and taken for granted. Everyone talks about Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is always, having title matches and always involved in something big. Sasha Banks had a lot of success when she was in WWE. Becky Lynch has had a lot of success. She's had a WrestleMania main event to her name. So is Sasha. So is Charlotte. See? All of them, except Bayley. So it's nice that she now has the spotlight because she is very good. And I think sometimes people forget that because she has been around for a while. And it's easy to kind of fade into the background sometimes. But she is no longer in the background. She is underappreciated no more. Now, as far as Io Sky is concerned, I love Io. I think Io is great. I think her title reign sucked. And it's kind of weird how her title run and Rhea Ripley's title run up to now have both largely sucked. And I don't blame Rhea Ripley for that, and I don't blame Io Sky for that. When they are put with people, they go out there and they have good matches. I could count on one hand and still have 4 fingers left over as far as how many title defenses Io had on TV. I'm pretty sure she literally had one, maybe two, since she won the title at SummerSlam last year. It's just inexcusable. So, like Rhea, she rarely defends her title and didn't exactly have a lot of competition to work with. So, unfortunately, it made for a very boring, dull title reign. So, when I look back on her run, those great Io Sky matches, she may have had a handful of good matches, and, I think she may have had one good TV match with Asuka. I can't remember. But it was a very uneventful title run. So I'm glad here that in the final match of her run, she went out there and had maybe the best match of them all. This is a very good match. I will say this, though. I do think that Bayley needs a new finish. The Rose Plant finish is just not it. It's very awkward. I just don't think it ever looks good. And I think she needs to switch it up. I don't know, what she wants to do, some sort of cutter or something. I mean, that's up to her. But I do wish she would change it because I just don't think it's a very good move for her to use as a finish. Now, they had the Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders in the ring with the Eagles mascot. This is my mascot. Brie Bella is my mascot here. They had the Eagles mascot in the ring on the same night that we had the Prime mascot. Maybe that'll be a match at WrestleMania next year. But they were in the ring with Snoop Dogg, who was back out here. And they had him in the ring. This was actually very funny. So, thankfully, there was no Miz or Shane McMahon this year with Snoop in the ring. We didn't have a debacle like last year. Snoop's a pro, though. When Shane got hurt last year, they were feeding him cues in the ring as they were helping Shane out. And I thought that, Snoop did a fine job with that awful people's elbow and everything. Everybody was very entertained by him. But they had him in the ring to announce the attendance for tonight. And so the announced attendance for night 2 was 72,755. That's worthy of a celebration. That is worthy of a celebration. You've come here at the right time.
We're having a party here.
Fahad is dropping a gigantic super chat. And I can't even see the conversion right now because there's been so many messages that have come in. But when I see that donation, I know it's a big one. Hey, Fahad, man. Wow. Thank you very much. Fahad coming in hot here on night 2 of WrestleMania. Coming in with a big bomb for us. Fahad, I'm going to read your message a little bit later and everybody else's as well, so stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. I got a lot left in the tank, as Mark Henry would say. But Snoop Dogg announces the attendance for tonight. And then they have him announce the 2-night total. So again, 72,755 for tonight. The total, according to Snoop, 145,420. At that same moment, they put a graphic up on the screen that says 145,298. So it cannot be a coincidence that the number that Snoop gave ended in 420. I will take his word for it, and I will go with the 420 figure over the 298. Snoop knows what he's talking about. Then it was main event time. This is where it gets good. Bloodline rules, which means there are no rules. Undisputed WWE Championship on the line. It was Cody Rhodes challenging Roman Reigns for the second year in a row. These men one-on-one in the WrestleMania main event. They had an epic video package that led into Cody's entrance. They played some, this music was very epic. It was almost like Avengers-style epic music that they played here for Cody as he came out. Was it? Oh, it was Fahad. $200 bomb from Fahad, which I believe takes the cake for the night so far. I was scrolling down trying to see what it was, but holy shit. For some reason, I thought it was $150. $200 from Fahad. I salute you, sir. Fahad, you are the man. You are the fucking man. Love this guy. So yeah, they're playing some epic Avenger-style music here for Cody, and they have the American Nightmare logo up on the Tron, up on the big screen, the vertical screen, and what looks like Armageddon in the background. It looks like like Hellfire and Brimstone. It's like a very fiery background. So we have Cody, who rises from the Cody Vader up from under the stage, and he is wearing... Now, my first thought when I saw him in this mask, it reminded me of a very Triple H-esque, like, skull mask. I guess it was like an American Nightmare mask. So he's wearing this mask, and yes, he has Brandy with him. And Brandy takes the mask off of his head, and she wished him luck. She went to the back. They played Cody's regular entrance and his regular music, and so everybody went, whoa! They did the whole whoa thing, right, which they love doing. They must have run through this music. They must have looped it 2 or 3 different times. In the time it took for Cody to get down to the ring and the way they milked it, and he posed on the different corners of the ring, they must have, I don't know how many woes they had. They were all woed out by the time his entrance was over. But he went to ringside when he got down there, and he hugged his mom, his sister. Brody Jr., -1 from AEW, was in the front row, as he was last year. -1 was in the front row last year as well, crying his little eyes out when Cody lost. Would that happen again tonight? Would the tears be flowing tonight? Now, last year, Roman Reigns got a special piano entrance before they played his music and he came out on stage. Tonight, it was an orchestra that they had playing him down to the ring. And I don't think they ever played his regular music unless they gave him new music, like it was like a remix version of it. I think the orchestra basically just played him down to the ring and that was it. So that was pretty cool. And with tonight's main event, Roman Reigns made history. And the history that he made is he officially, as of tonight, now has the greatest number of WrestleMania main events to his name, which is 9. 9 WrestleMania main events, which passes Hulk Hogan. So the Hogan record, not the record that the supposed record that people were talking about, but the Hogan record, the actual record, has officially been broken. And Roman Reigns has more main events than anybody else in the history of this show. Now, Cody was getting more cheers tonight than he did last night, which was good. If you are a Cody fan, last night he's out there, he's with Rock and Roman, he's getting booed, and Seth was getting booed, and Rock was getting cheered, and you didn't know what to expect here for this title match on night 2. But Cody got a babyface reaction that you would have expected him to get. The people were behind him, they were on his side tonight. The crowd in general just sounded much more enthusiastic tonight than they did for night 1. And, some people were kind of dismissing it last night, but I heard from enough people who were there in the stadium who said, dude, it was fucking cold. And so you're sitting out there for 3, 4, 5 hours, if you count the pre-show, maybe longer. And that wind, I had one person go, he had wind burn by sitting out there for so long. And I can see it. I can see where you're just trying to keep warm and it could affect your enjoyment of the show, and that sucks. And that's why I think that they have to avoid the Northeast for any kind of outdoor shows in early April. You either move Mania to later in the month or just run indoor venues from now on. If it's going to affect the crowd in that way. Because you really rely more than any other sport. You rely on the crowd engagement. You rely on the crowd reaction for these matches.
With a tear in my eye.
Hey, Nicholas, thank you, man, for that 1992. Appreciate that. So we didn't have that issue tonight. You could tell it was like night and day between the two crowds. This had a big fight feel to it. This match has been 1 year in the making. And as disappointing as the buildup was for Cody and Roman, because the focus was so much on The Rock, that it took away from the focus of Cody and Roman, once the bell rang, the people were up for it. And it really did. It felt like a very big deal. So they had a feeling out process until Roman posted himself shoulder first. And it's Bloodline rules, so Cody wasted no time. He went outside, he pulled a table out from under the ring, but he got caught with a drive-by by Roman Reigns. And so Roman, at that point, he drags the table that Cody had shoved into the ring. He drags it back outside and then shoves it under the ring. Instant heel heat. He took the table away from the people. Automatic heel heat for Roman Reigns. Then he pulled out a kendo stick and he went to work on Cody with it. Cody got a hold of the stick. He tried to use it. Roman, though, avoided. Eventually, they fought outside and they fought into the crowd. Now, they had this prime, what they called the prime hydration station outside the ring, which was just a cart next to the Spanish announce desk over by the barricade that had a whole bunch of bottles of prime on there. And so Roman just sort of overturned the cart, and they brawled over the barricade into the crowd. He was putting a beating on Cody. They ended up on top of some kind of platform. I thought it was a table at first. It was covered by like a black tarp, but I don't think it was a table.
It's a direction you can fuck.
Hey, Bobby's World. Telling me the direction I can go fuck here. $23 super chat from our boy, Bobby. Bobby. Oh, who was it that kept saying that about Lashley? Oh, Brock. That's what it was. When Brock was feuding with Bobby Lashley, we call him Bobby. Bobby. Still haven't gotten that out of my head. So they were on top of this platform. And Roman tried to suplex Cody off the platform, I guess onto the floor. Cody blocks it, he reverses it, and he suplexes Roman onto the platform. So then Cody ends up sending Roman right back over the barricade to ringside. Inside the ring, Cody tried for a disaster kick. Roman caught him, though, as he came off the ropes, and he powerbombed him. Roman was talking shit to him. He says, "This is my company, you little bitch." His words. The words of Roman Reigns here. "This is my company, you little bitch." Pat McAfee then said on commentary, he told Roman, "Talk that shit." And then there was a long pause where nobody said anything. And it's almost as if he got a message in his ear telling him, don't do that. So Roman actually hit a perfect plex, which McAfee acknowledged as the perfect plex. Good to see Kurt Hennig getting some love here in the main event. Cody kicked out. We got a slugfest. Cody hit a power slam and then a disaster kick. Covers him. Roman kicks out. Cody goes for a springboard, but Roman catches him, and then Roman Reigns hits a crossroads to Cody Rhodes. He tried to beat Cody with his own move, and Cody kicks out at 2. And so Roman sits up and he yells, "That move sucks." He goes, "That move ain't beating nobody." So he buries Cody's finish here. Cody comes back with the dusty punches and the bionic elbow. Roman rolls out to the floor. Cody follows him outside. Then he looks over at the announce desk and he clears off the top of the announce desk. And when Cody goes over to grab Roman, he eats a low blow. And this is where it kind of jogged my memory and dawned on me that this is a Bloodline rules match. And Roman came out only with Paul Heyman. There was no Solo Sikoa. Up to this point, we were several minutes into the match. There had been no Bloodline members out here. So this was the first time that Roman took advantage of the Bloodline rule slip here. Gave him a low blow. Roman hoists him up, powerbombs Cody through the announce desk. Table breaks. Then quickly, he picks Cody up, throws him right back into the ring, hits a Superman punch, he covers him, Cody kicks out. So Roman tries for the spear. Cody, though, kicks him. Cody cutter connects, covers the champion, Roman kicks out. So now Roman is all hooked up for a crossroads. He fights out of it, but Cody hits a spear. And then Roman kicks out. Unfortunately, Cody did not sit up and go, "Your finish sucks," just like Roman did to him. But they both tried to use each other's finish, and it didn't work either time. So then he picks up Roman Reigns, and he hits a crossroads. And then he picks him up for another one. But here is Jimmy Uso. So here we go with the Bloodline. He super kicks Cody in the head. It's all legal. There are no rules. You knew it was coming. So now he's trying to get Roman's attention. He picks up Cody, and he's holding Cody up. Down goes Cody with a Superman punch. And now we hear Jey Uso's theme song. So here comes Jay. Jimmy goes out and he meets him halfway up the ramp. And we got the two brothers that are brawling on the ramp. And then Jay spears him off the ramp down through two tables down below. Wipes out both Usos. That takes them out of the equation. The Usos are out. And it's playing out at this point exactly the way that I thought it would, right? Jay cancels out Jimmy. Now we got to get to Solo, right? They have to repeat the spot, the finish from last year's WrestleMania. You have to do it again. You have to tease that, oh my God, this match is possibly going to end the same way. So back in the ring, Roman hits a spear. Cody kicks out. Roman tries for a guillotine. Cody fights it off. They end up on the floor. And we got the barricade spot with Cody spearing him through the wall by the timekeeper's area. At this point, we got chants of "This is awesome" from the crowd. Cody brings Roman back into the ring. Crossroads. Hangs on. Hits a second Crossroads. Here comes the trifecta, but wait. Here's Solo. Solo Sikoa gets into the ring, and Solo Sikoa hits a Samoan spike to Cody Rhodes, just like he did last year. And he drags Roman Reigns on top of Cody, and he begins to walk away. The referee counts 1. The referee counts 2. Cody gets a shoulder up before 3. So now Solo can't believe it, right? He can't believe that Cody kicked out of this. He puts a beat down on him. He's yelling at Roman, "Finish him, let's go, finish your story, let's go." So they executed a spear and Samoan spike combo at the same time. Roman covers him again, and again, Cody kicks out. And now, maybe one move too late, because it probably should have come before that spot, but now we hear the trumpets. Everybody loses their mind, and here comes John Cena, sprinting down to the ring. And John Cena gets inside, he clotheslines Solo Sikoa, the man who last defeated him, out to the floor. Then he turns around and he hoists Roman Reigns up on his shoulders, and he delivers an attitude adjustment. Then Cena goes outside, hits an attitude adjustment to Solo. I believe it was through the Spanish announce desk. So, again, people are going crazy here, right? Cena's outside the ring now. Solo is down, laying in the rubble. And now we hear The Rock's music. Here comes the final boss. And The Rock makes his way down to the ring. He gets into the ring with Cena. They're standing opposite each other. Remember when once in a lifetime became twice in a lifetime? Well, now it became thrice in a lifetime. So we got a face-to-face, nose-to-nose in the ring with John Cena and The Rock. And John Cena did the "you can't see me" hand gesture, but Rock hooked him up for a rock bottom and dropped him. He goes, "I ain't having none of that shit." So he puts down John Cena. Rock then pulls off his Mama Rhodes weight belt, and he's about to go whip Cody with it, when we hear the old Shield theme song. And people, now I wasn't expecting this. So I said, all right, that's kind of interesting. Because I just didn't think that Rollins was going to come out. I had honestly forgotten about Seth. After he lost earlier and he was crying and he went to the back, I figured he was just going to be sulking in the back. But we hear the Shield music. Rock is looking around, right? He's looking down the aisle. He's looking in the crowd. He's looking all over the place to see where this guy is. There was a brief fleeting moment where I thought, I wonder if Dean Ambrose would show up. Right? Even though there was no possible way for that to actually, especially this week of all weeks with all the drama going on. All the drama that's been dredged up. I don't think we're going to see a lot of cooperation between these two promotions. So I got that idea out of my head real quick. But he's looking around, and here comes Seth Rollins. It took a while, but he came into the ring behind The Rock. I guess, out from that part of the crowd behind him. And he was in his Shield gear. He had the riot gear on. Before he could even lay a finger on The Rock, here comes Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns drops Seth Rollins with a Superman punch before he could even touch The Rock. What a fucking geek. I just don't know how much lower one person could go. I mean, you look at the way that they were talking about him in all of their promos. in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. The way that The Rock would talk about him as a walking clown emoji, and you had Roman Reigns, CM Punk, when Rollins was in the ring a few weeks ago and said, "You want to know what I think?" And Punk was like, "Nope." Like, at every turn, this man has been disrespected. And then the cherry on the shit Sunday is him going out there and losing the World Heavyweight title in the opening match. After losing last night's main event, Seth Rollins lost back-to-back matches at WrestleMania. Has that ever happened before? Has anybody at WrestleMania lost back-to-back? Because technically it's back-to-back matches at WrestleMania. Just off the top of my head, I don't know. He may have made history tonight. This guy couldn't even lay a finger on The Rock before he got laid out. Then, we weren't done yet. Now, I'm getting really excited watching this, right? Because I'm thinking there's just no way that we're not going to hear that glass shatter. Rock is standing in the ring. We had Cena, right? I knew Cena was going to be there. Then I thought back to the truck from a couple of weeks ago when Rock was beating him up in the parking lot, and that truck was in the background, and who'd you see? Cena and Austin. And I'm thinking, here we go, right? Here we go. The glass is going to shatter. It's going to happen. These people are going to lose their fucking minds. And instead, we didn't hear glass shattering. We heard the gong go off. And everybody loved hearing that. The lights go out. And by the way, when the gong sounded, The Rock's eyes bugged out of his head. So the lights go out. When the lights come back on, the Undertaker is standing behind The Rock. And the Undertaker he's basically in there as Mark Calloway. He was in there, what did he have on his head? Like a beanie or a hoodie or something? He was in his regular street gear. He wasn't dressed up as the Undertaker or anything like that. It was almost like they said, "Oh shit, Mark, we need you in 10 minutes. We need you to go out to the ring to do something." So The Rock finally turns around. Undertaker goozles him and gives him a choke slam. The gong sounds again. We heard the Undertaker's dong. And then the lights go out. And Undertaker is gone. Rock is no longer in the ring. And I'm thinking, oh man, it can't be. Say it ain't so. Where's my man? Where's Stone Cold? Unfortunately, there was no Stone Cold on this show. Hopefully there's a good reason why, because everything they did here was set up for him to make an appearance. Like, if ever he was going to just make a random cameo like this, you got Cena there, you got this guy, the Shield music hits, and Rollins comes out in the old Shield gear. It was like the Night of 1,000 Stars here. This would have been the spot right there, and they didn't do it. And it's like the one thing that kind of eats away at me, like, that would have made it so perfect, but it didn't happen. But then here comes what I thought was my favorite part of the match. It's from a story perspective. I thought this was actually quite clever. Roman Reigns picks up the chair, and he has Cody Rhodes on this side of the ring trying to pull himself up by the ropes. And he's angling like he's going to hit him with that chair. But then he realizes, and he said, Seth Rollins is over here. And he's pulling himself back up with the use of the ropes. And he has a choice to make in that moment. Do I hit Cody with this chair and win the match? Or do I hit Seth with this chair, who's not in the match? But he's probably having flashbacks, right? Is the Roman Reigns character to 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago that Seth Rollins put the chair in his back and killed the Shield once and for all. So what does Roman Reigns opt to do? He hits Seth with the chair in the back instead. I love how, by the way, he hits the guy wearing a vest. Wearing a protective vest. Hits him in the back with the chair, and down goes Seth Rollins. And again, I go back to the Heat movie analogy that I used earlier. It was like De Niro, man. You were this close. You were this close from getting away scot-free, but you just couldn't help yourself. Consumed by revenge, he goes back, ends up getting killed. Spoiler, sorry. But he goes back, and it all falls apart. So he knocks down Seth Rollins, who, by the way, has still not gotten any bit of offense in on anybody here. And I'm seriously wondering if he is injured legitimately. Now, I have not had the chance yet to go check any news reports, But the way he was moving around out there, I wonder if maybe the reason why he did not get physical and do anything was because maybe he is legitimately hurt. And he just wanted to make sure he got out there because he knew, like, I'm not going to miss this spot. I don't know. So down goes Seth. Roman lets out a war cry. He's going for a spear. Cody catches him with a kick, though, on the way in. Cody hits crossroads. Cody hits a second crossroads. Cody hits a third crossroads. He covers Roman Reigns. The referee drops down. He counts the 3. And Cody Rhodes wins the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. He pins Roman Reigns 33 minutes into this match to finish the story at WrestleMania 40. And I don't know how many of you noticed this, but Roman Reigns, after he ate that third crossroads, and Cody hooked the leg and went for the pin, Roman had the biggest smile on his face for just a moment there. I think when the referee hit 2, he cracked a smile that was very noticeable. And I just thought that smile is everything right there. That smile in that moment really just encapsulated the entire match. And probably how much fun everybody was having being a part of this and hearing the crowd, which was just going crazy and reacting to everything. It was unmistakable. But I thought that smile, that little smile he cracked there was just everything. And so Samantha Irvin is very emotional about this. She gets into this stuff. And her voice is cracking. She's having a little bit of trouble announcing Cody, but she announces Cody as the winner and the new champion. Michael Cole on commentary sounded like he was openly weeping. Charles Robinson was the referee. He presented Cody with the title. Cody drops to his knees. Brandy joins him in the ring. Now here comes Randy Orton. Here comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, CM Punk, LA Knight. Jey Uso is back, so obviously he's still alive after falling off the ramp with his brother. And they join John Cena. Seth Rollins is back up in the ring. Cody and Brandy. They raise Cody up on their shoulders for the big celebration, just like they did with Bret. At WrestleMania 10, all the baby faces come out. They hoist Bret up, the face of a new era in WWE at the time. Cody and Punk shared an embrace. They shared a moment. I thought it was cool seeing Punk and Cena in the background. They shared a moment too. They were chatting for a little bit. Mama Rhodes got into the ring. She hugged her son. Michael Cole on commentary is shouting. He goes, "Damn it, I love professional wrestling." And Cody presented the title to his mother, which he said he would do. He can't present the title to his dad, but he said, "I'm going to present it to my mom." And he hands the championship over to her. Cody then motions for the microphone. He's got a few words that he would like to say. He says, "Look, I know it's been a long night." I actually thought it was going to be longer. I mean, it felt like they were actually trying to kill time here at the end. Because the night before ended, I don't remember exactly what time it was. It was after 11. This show, it was like 10:30, and it was basically over already. But he goes, "I know it's been a long night." He said, "There were a couple of people, though, that I want to invite out to the ring because I would not be here right now without him. Without either one of these men." And he said one of those men was Bruce Pritchard. And I'm thinking, Bruce? He invited Bruce out to the ring. Here comes Bruce. And the other man, he said, I know he's not going to want to come out here. He's going to come out here kicking and screaming. But he invites Triple H out to the ring. So here comes Bruce Pritchard. Here comes Triple H. They get into the ring. And Pritchard hugs Cody and has a few words with him and says how proud he is of him. Well, you know, it was Pritchard who flew down to Cody's house in Georgia with Vince McMahon to meet with Cody personally when they were negotiating and talking about him coming back to WWE. They got on a plane together. They came down. They met with Cody in person. So it is very likely that Cody would not be back in the company right now were it not for the influence of Bruce Pritchard. So they exchanged some words there. And then he shares a moment with Triple H where they kind of put their heads together and they hug. Orton and Zayn, they put Cody on their shoulders again before they set him back down. Cody ends up hugging Brandy. Cody left the ring. He walked up to Michael Cole, who was all choked up, and says, "I love you." It was like everybody was in their feelings here in the main event here at the end of this show. So Cody shakes hands with Corey Graves and Pat McAfee. He gets back into the ring. He plays to the crowd. He looks down at Seth Rollins, who is outside the ring. And he puts his hand out to shake his hand. Rollins reaches through the ropes and shakes his hand. And again, there was something about Seth. He had a look on his face, like his eyes, like, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with that guy. Hopefully he's okay, but he did not look good. He looked like he was somewhere else. And so everybody left the ring and they stood outside the ring and allowed Cody to have a moment to himself on the inside as the pyro shot off. And Michael Cole on commentary said, sometimes this business just gets you right in the heart. And it doesn't get any sweeter than this. Cody went to ringside, hugged a bunch of people, including Nick Khan, who was not smiling. He looked very stoic, but he embraced Cody as well. Corey Graves said that pro wrestling is back, and Pat McAfee added, pro wrestling is beautiful. And without getting too sappy here, I will chime in and say that this is what pro wrestling is all about. It's all about having fun, or at least that's what it should be. And I think far too often we kind of get, and I'm guilty of this too, we get sucked into the abyss of all of the negative, and yeah, there's a lot of tribalism going on. That's a big problem right now as well. And it's easy to kind of get dragged down into the muck like that. But at the end of the day, when you can watch a wrestling match or a show and you're into it, or you're marking out for this, or you're marking out for that, and it's just an escape for a lot of people as well. It's an escape from whatever shitty stuff might be going on in their lives, whatever your reasoning is. When pro wrestling is done right, it is the best thing in the world, because that's why we're all fans. And that's why I said at the beginning of this stream that I don't think I've ever had this much fun watching a WrestleMania main event than this one. There have been a ton of great matches in the main event of WrestleMania before. But between all the cameos and the stories that they were telling, and this, you just knew that this was the end of this long run that Roman has been on, and you're just waiting, right? You're just waiting for it to be over. You're waiting for Cody to finally pull it out in the end, and then he finally does, and you get that big payoff. And you see everybody in the background jumping up and down and losing their minds. That's what it's all about. It's about those moments. And so everybody involved here, from creative to talent and Levesque and everybody else, deserves a lot of credit for putting together what they did and making it happen. Was it worth the wait? It was worth the wait. That doesn't necessarily mean that I would still say that Cody should not have won last year, but because he didn't, they ended up with this great story that they were able to tell, which went in a bunch of different directions before they settled on this one. And in the end, it all worked out. It all worked out, and we got the payoff that I think a lot of us were hoping to get last year. Roman Reigns, his run will go down in history. Look, it's very impressive that he was able to stay, injury-free, mostly injury-free, for as long as he did. He was the champion in the face of the company at a time when they're doing bigger business than they've ever done before in the history of the company. And he's been the face of that for a very long time. But everything has to come to an end at some point, and you've got to turn the page and you've got to move on to the next. And that's what tonight represents. Tonight marks the end of one chapter, the beginning of another, long overdue. And I was very happy to see them do the right thing. It was the correct outcome. These two went out there and they had an excellent main event to cap off what I thought was an excellent WrestleMania. Night 1 and Night 2 put together made for a very good WrestleMania. Night 2, more superior to Night 1, but can't say enough good things about that main event. Wish Stone Cold could have been there. It'll be one of those moments, unfortunately. Got away from us. But I enjoyed all the other cameos, and so did the fans, and I just thought that the storytelling and everything else was very good. And I hope now whatever story they move on to next can be as good as what that Bloodline story was, especially when it reached its peak with the Sami Zayn stuff, right? As great as that story was, I hope now they can find something else that's just as good. Whether that involves the Bloodline or another faction or somebody else, I don't know. That's what we'll find out, because guess what? It's the Paul Levesque era. They made that very clear this weekend. It's the Paul Levesque era now. He's in charge, right? He's got the pen. He's going to book. He's going to be the one coming up with these ideas. He wants to keep this train rolling. He doesn't want this to end after WrestleMania. He wants to keep things flowing. We'll see. Raw tomorrow night will tell the tale of where this company is going to be going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. Here is the Twitter poll, which you will see here in a moment, as soon as Simi Valley, his super chat, pops off screen here. Hey, Simi, thank you. Said, story finished. Wrestling is indeed a love story, says Simi Valley. It can be when it's done right. Look at that. 93% thumbs up for WrestleMania night number 2. 4.7% thumbs in the middle. Only 2.4% thumbs down. I mean, it's like the tale of two polls if you compare this to night 1. That is overwhelming. 93% thumbs up, and that's with 4,200 votes in so far. At Solomonster on Twitter, as the super chats here begin to filter in, since I had them paused here. Now they're all going to be coming in together here, and this is all going to be a surprise to me because I wasn't looking at them before. So now we get to see them coming on in. So do you agree with that Twitter poll? What do you guys think? Is this a 93% night here for WrestleMania? Thank you, by the way, to the 5,000 of you that have been hanging out with me, even bigger than night 1 was, which is what I was hoping for. So I thank you for that. As we truck along here, let me scale back. Make sure I go through all of your messages so we can hang out and we can talk WrestleMania. If you got any questions for me or comments, send them on in. I do want to hear from all you guys. And Marcus, thank you, man. Marcus Creed. All right, let's go back to the early ones that came in before I went live. I want to make sure that I get those folks first. And by the way, 1,600 likes and counting. You guys blew it out of the water here. So we are definitely going to be being the booker a little bit later on. All right, let's kick it off here with Luis. Luis, look at Luis, man. Luis got the first super chat in earlier. Luis with the $5 super chat. Again, the early ones will not show in this list here. We'll get to those in a second. Luis says, I know this is going to be read after the fact, but the tribal chief has to be slayed. There is no turning back. It's almost like Luis had a premonition. Brian Anthony Rivers with the $10 super chat. By the time you read this, I'll be getting my ass handed to me trying to get out of the stadium. But here is $10. Keep doing you, and see you on the AEW podcast on Wednesday. Yeah, well, in light of what's been announced, I think that's going to be a very interesting stream on Wednesday night. For better or worse, I think that Dynamite stream is going to be one not to be missed. Yeah, exactly. That's the punk reaction right there. Hey, Mr. E says, here's to the tip jar, $10 super chat. Hey, Mr. E, thank you very much. Jake, can you see a double turn with Drew and Punk? I don't see it. I'm going to say no. Not saying it's not possible, but I just don't see that happen. Base beer is Snoop against The Rock, title for title, elbow against elbow. Rock can put his Brahma Bull belt on the line? I guess so. You could do that. The Carlosis. I can listen to Snoop's commentary all day. I enjoyed Snoop's commentary more than I did Pat McAfee. I kind of wish they would have kept him out there. JDF says this is going into the New York steak budget. Gotta get that filet mignon, man. Come on, I've been working my fucking ass off this week. If anybody deserves a filet, it's me. Filet mignon? Ugh. Medium? Winston Slip says, am I happy for LA Knight? Yeah. Yes, a lot of very happy LA Knight fans. We have got The Carlosis says, Drew payoff at Clash at the Castle, surely. I mean, how could it not be? I mean, that would be the place to do it. Has to be. Ace of Master. Opening up with Stephanie. Not happy, not a fan of that. Also, what the fuck happened to AJ's theme? They butchered it. They butchered it. Oh boy. Holy shit. Hit the deck, everybody. It is the new Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion. I am Batman. That was Batman dropping a $300 super chat. Let Gotham burn. He's listening to the sound off tonight. Gotham can wait. Holy shit. Look at that. Batman swooping in. How did I not see that before? Hey, Batman, thank you. I'm not at your message yet. I'll get there in a moment here, but holy shit, man. Thank you very much. Man. Batman. See, you could always rely on Batman. That's why he's my favorite comic book character. Vanilla Gorilla says Night 2 is sponsored by Slim Jim. Night 1 was sponsored by Dude Wipes. Interesting coincidence. Yeah. Well, you have too many Slim Jims. You got to use those Dude Wipes, I guess. Ace of Master, though, I was going to say, this is not the same Ace of Master from TikTok, is it? That puts together all those amazing videos. All those animations. Ace of Master also says, I show speed accidentally shows his penis on a stream, gets to be on a WWE pay-per-view. Classic Fed. Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't know that.
It's the amazing Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent.
Our boy Gunther is here.
All hail Gunther.
A Xeno Slayer with the $50 Gunther bomb. We had Gunther last night on the stream. I didn't know if we'd get to see him make an appearance tonight. I'm glad that we did. Hey, Xeno, thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Orioles Peak. Happy for Bayley and Cody. This feels like a movie. Well, it's great when you get a happy ending. Well, that'll be clipped. Chaotic says, put the fingers down. The crybabies laugh last. That's right, all the Cody crybabies. They're getting the last laugh here. Crypto in poker. Oh my god. Oh my god. Scared the shit out of me. I had another screen open, and that scared the fucking crap out of me. Jesus Christ. ABK. I always love it when just ABK, he just kind of sneaks up on me when I least expect it. I'm like, where is he? And there he is.
It's ABK.
There he is.
Always be killing it.
He just, when you least expect it, he will show up. I'm trying to see if I can find if he's on here. There's just so many. I've gone back too far. Yes, I have. I've gone back too far. Where is this guy? I want to read his right now. I'm not going to make him wait. If I could find him, he's on this list somewhere here. Hey, ABK, man, thank you very, very much. As you know, it is always appreciated when he... Man, we you know what? I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this in order? Because we will be here all night if I do it any other way. I think that it would be wise to keep things in order here. So let's finish with the early ones. Crypto and poker. Man, ABK, you threw me for a loop there. Crypto and poker. Samantha is giving the Fink a run for his money. I have said that Samantha Irvin is the best ring announcer since the Fink that WWE has ever had. And the way that Seth has been used, I think he is leaving. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think he is, but I could see where you would draw that conclusion based on the way that he's been booked. His contract is supposedly coming up in June, him and Becky both. Not a chance in my mind this company lets them go. They will do whatever it takes to keep the both of them. Ultra Beast Boys. Randy remembered that he was the son of Bob Orton and had to handle I Show Speed accordingly. I think Randy Orton was all of us. I was living vicariously through Randy Orton in that moment. But yeah, he kicked that kid into the middle of next week. Jerome Eugenio just wanted to say thank you for all the content this weekend. Oh, it's very kind of you, Jerome. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Mark Henry, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast that went up earlier today, 2 hours. Talked about the Punk stuff and some other Tony Khan stuff and WrestleMania, whole bunch of things. So if you missed it, go check out episode 856. You thought I wasn't going to do a show this weekend? You don't know me very well, do you? Groovy Goose says, what a night to be a wrestling fan. That was fun. Yes, it was. Base Beerus says, 5 long title reigns came to an end. Well, the 2 biggest ones in WWE came to an end this weekend. Gunther and Roman Reigns are no longer champions. Bones Jones, put your ones up for Samantha Irvin. Well done. Samantha's great. Donnie Yasu, story complete. I am looking forward to the new era. And also, just when you thought Seth could not look more like a chump, he came to the ring in full nostalgia just to be knocked out in 0.5 seconds. Yep. There's no other way to look at it. He looked like a fucking geek coming out there and already lost the world title earlier in the show. He dresses up as old Seth Rollins, and then he gets killed. Not a good night to be Seth. Not a good weekend. He lost last night too. Not a good weekend to be Seth Rollins. What's he going to do with his robes now? Donnie, though, thank you for the double super chat. The Barf Nuggets 24. This WrestleMania Night 2 review is going to feed families. Oh, don't start with that. Don't start with that. Joey Jojo Jr. I remember the day that Cody left WWE. I remember the interview that Cody did with Sam Roberts in 2016. This was a special story that started many years ago. Undesirable to literally undeniable. It is a great story. When you have a great story in wrestling, you want to tell that story, and when you get that payoff, man, nothing beats it. Dwight with the $30 Bully the Clown. Thank you for your streams. First time with a super chat. With that said, I will be sleeping by the time you read this, but I'm fine with Saturday being a super glorified show since Sunday was like this. They ended strong. That's what counts. Dwight, I guess you won't be seeing this until later, but thank you very much. JS Warrior with the 1999. Congrats for Cody Rhodes, but I want to thank Roman Reigns as well. What a historic run starting in August of 2020 to ending in April of 2024. Thank you, my tribal chief. Good luck, American Night.
Richie Rich over here dropping all this money on me. Hey, I just want you to know, I think you rock.
Oh, man.
I don't mean The Rock, A-Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
It is M. Mills dropping a $100 super chat bomb.
Yowie wowie.
M. Mills, I hope you are having a fantastic night. I hope you enjoyed WrestleMania, and I hope you are enjoying this stream. And I don't know what to say other than thank you. I think we heard from M. Mills the other night as well. Thank you very much. No message, just showing some love. Tommy Colella. We're going to catch up to this list at some point, I promise you. Tommy says, isn't it ironic that Roman Reigns has never had an epic WrestleMania entrance like he had tonight, and the one year he has one, he loses? I don't know, his entrance last year was pretty epic. Powerful one with the $9.99. Roman could have ended Cody's story with that chair, but he couldn't help himself. The wound and the trauma of Seth's betrayal still haunted him. He saw his chance and took it, and it cost him everything. And that's the key story that hopefully people don't overlook here. You know, it was 10 years. 10 years later, still couldn't let it go. And he chose to go and get revenge. And it cost him everything. There he is. Boy, we're getting more Bully tonight than we've seen in probably 15 years. Bully the Clown making another appearance, everybody. The circus is in town. The circus has come to Philadelphia tonight. Orioles Peak. Seth sacrificing himself for Cody was a nice touch. Prince, that's one way to look at it, I guess. Prince Vegeta, congrats to the 55th WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes. That's right, Cody now joins the ranks of Hulk Hogan, and Randy Savage, and Bret Hart, and Steve Austin, and The Rock, John Cena, and Triple H. He's part of that crew now. Dr. Wolfman. It's weird Rock doesn't exercise CEO powers in the main event. Well, I mean, look, if they wanted Cody to win, so there's only so much power he can exert. They made it Bloodline rules. I mean, there really isn't much more they can do if the outcome is going to be Cody winning. The Real CS says, say what you want about Roman, but his reign will go down as the greatest in professional wrestling. He made that title top title for over 3 years. No Cap, LA Knight, yeah, Night 2, top tier mania. Connor Jones, thank you for the $4.99, says Roman had the greatest reign of all time, but no one in the world deserves to be the champion more than Cody. Jace, fans brought it tonight, must have hurt us. Well, now that and the weather was a little bit warm. I'm sure that helped. Philly dried chicken and steak without flavor. Cody Rhodes finally finished the story. It's about damn time. WWE is cool again. Professional wrestling is cool again. Right. You can thank The Rock. He'll be the first to tell you. You can thank The Rock for wrestling being cool again, even though they were selling out and setting all kinds of records even before he came back. But yeah, he did bring a lot of people back in, and we'll see if they stick around after WrestleMania. My guess would be no. If he's not around, the answer is probably no. Scody Clash with the $9.99. Hey, Scody, thank you. The Bloodline be damned. The words of Michael Cole. The story writes itself. So happy that Cody finished the story. Bleached my hair as a proud Cody crybaby. This is now Cody's kingdom. You bleached your hair for Cody. You know what you should do? You want to prove that you're a real Cody fan? You gotta get that tattoo right. See, that's what you gotta do. You gotta get the tattoo, my friend. Are you really a Cody fan if you don't get the tattoo on your neck? King Taco. The crowd for the main event was on fire. No offense to Kane. Philly dried chicken. Much like King Taco with the $5. I want to thank Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Nick Khan, and The Rock for the years of building up a brighter future for WWE. The representation is amazing. Hey, Greg Pelfrey, thank you for the $9.99. I hated Vince booking, but one bad to good booking is that it is more predictable. Only shock outcome over 2 nights was Sammy for me. Still a great WrestleMania. Thanks for all the great content, Solomonster. And really, to me, there was no more predictable match than the main event tonight, and I think it's a great example. I think a lot of times people will conflate predictable with bad. Talk about that a lot. The most predictable match on the show this weekend was the match that we got tonight. That was certainly on night 2, the most predictable of the matches. And it was the best. So the fact that it was predictable did not take away from my enjoyment level of it, even though I knew Cody had to win this match. So it's just a lesson for people who think, oh, it's predictable. That automatically makes it bad. Yeah, I mean, sometimes predictable can be bad, but there are a lot of times where predictable, if they give the people what they want, predictable as it may be, sometimes that's the best option. Stevie Hurley. Out of WrestleMania 10, 20, 30, and 40, is this the best main event? Yeah. I think so, yeah. The WrestleMania 10 main event sucked. I mean, I say that as a Bret Hart fan. That Bret Hart-Yokozuna match was not good. Especially after you had Yokozuna already working a match earlier in the show. This was his second match. This was also Bret's second match. So that was not a good main event. I liked the finish of the show, but the main event was not great. The WrestleMania 20 main event was excellent. The WrestleMania 30 main event, triple threats, both of them. Both were excellent. I was there for 30. I mean, it was a great moment. The confetti falling down, Daniel Bryan tapping out Batista. Michael Cole's call on commentary about the miracle on Bourbon Street. It was a great moment. WrestleMania 40 of 10, 20, 30, and 40, I'd have to put that in number 1. I think what I would do is I would go 40, 30, 20, and 10. I think in that, basically reverse order is what I would do. Matt Fisher, thank God. Now we can finally get Roman against Solo. I'm kidding, FYI. Kudos to Paul for one of the best Hall of Fame speeches since Roddy Piper, not counting The Undertaker. Yeah, the Paul Heyman Hall of Fame speech was fantastic. If you did not see it, make sure you check that out. Austin Blancett says, I've been watching wrestling for over half my life. This was the greatest wrestling main event I've ever seen. Closest we will get to an endgame. Riley Archer says, I love Taker, but that made no sense. Triple H or even Rollins neutralizing The Rock would have at least fit the story if they could not get Austin. It's kind of what makes me think that maybe something happened where they were going to get Austin and then he had to pull out at the last minute. And so they just said, all right, Taker, we need you. Because, again, Austin would have made all the sense in the world in that spot to pair him off with The Rock. Or if you're of the mindset that, well, Austin wouldn't have made sense, what's his involvement here? Well, you can say the same fucking thing about The Undertaker. And if you got to choose between the two, you go with Austin. So there had to be a reason. My guess is that he was sick or something where he just couldn't make it. It sucks, but it happens. And Austin with the $1.99 says, Solomonster, seriously, love you, man. Thanks so much. Thank you. I mean, thank all of you. You guys are killing it. I'm trying to play catch up here, so bear with me for the column on the left here. We're still going through the early ones here. Let me see where we're at here. Let me see where we are at here at 1:30 in the morning. Early on a Monday. I am trying very hard. Here we go. All right. We're almost there. Power spying games. If Vince was backstage, he would have powerlessly walked away like Turner at the end of What's Love Got to Do with It? Home run tonight from WWE. And Creflo $50 with the $5 super chat. Says, the ending had me in tears and convinced me that last year's finish was the right outcome. That is according to Creflo. He also says, my favorite match of the night was Bayley versus Io. What was your predicted show-stealing match? Well, I knew that... Aussie, I'll get to you in a second here. I knew Sammy and Gunther was going to be great. There was no doubt in my mind about that. Hey, Mr. J, shout out, man. Shout out to you. So I figured that was going to steal the show. And as far as night 2, I pretty much knew that main event was going to be absolute madness. Especially as soon as they made it official that it was going to be Bloodline rules, I knew that it was going to be insanity. So I figured that was going to steal the show. So Sammy on night 1 and Cody and Roman on night 2. Aussie of Steel. It's a good day to be a wrestling fan. Cody Rhodes finished his damn story. Finally. That's right. Finally finished the story. Powerful One says Austin probably said no, so Undertaker was plan B. The one and only time in my life I was disappointed to hear the gong. Still really happy to see him. Barry MK400. So happy that Bayley got a big win like this. It's well deserved. She has been my favorite female wrestler ever since she was in NXT. I'm very happy for her. Very happy that she got her moment. Black Spine Records dropping a 1999. Hey, shout out to Black Spine Records. Thank you, sir. Mads with the $6. I was in stitches when I saw your tweet about Rollins. All jokes aside, Seth is a very unselfish and somewhat underrated performer. Well, he was definitely very giving of himself in the build-up to this WrestleMania. I will say that. More than probably most main eventers would be. ATCO Pest Control. Screw Cody. And screw you too, we love Vince. Says ATCO Pest Control. Not happy that Vince isn't around. I guess that would make him a Vince crybaby. Well, you're going to have to get used to the Paul Levesque era, I guess. But it's okay. You're welcome. You're welcome into the tent with everybody else. I think those pest chemicals have been getting to your brain. Mr. GMB says, is it the... No, wait. He says, first time Rock Taker shared a ring since NWO in 2002. Was it the first time since No Way Out that year? I don't know. You know what? It might be. No, you know what? It wasn't. No, it wasn't. They had that triple threat match with Kurt Angle and Vengeance that year. So it might have been the first time since Vengeance. Kate Love, thank you for the 10, Kate. Appreciate it. Brendan Croft. Jacob Fatu debut for one more false finish and then a final Austin save would have made it the best match ever for theater. That would have been insane. That would have been crazy. Rodimus Prime says, what a time to be alive and to be a wrestling fan. Pro wrestling will forever be awesome.
It's a direction you can fuck.
And The Rock is not happy tonight. The Rock is not happy tonight. Yes, I know all the Roman fans too. All the Roman fans, or the Cody haters, I guess, who were adamant. I mean, I can't tell you, there were a good number of people who were very adamant in the weeks leading up to tonight that Cody is not winning. Cody is not winning. He's not big enough to be in that spot. Roman is going to pass Hogan. Roman is going to go for another year. If you know people like that, send them a text, give them a call, do a welfare check on them, make sure they're okay. You know, they're people too. They have feelings too. Make sure they're okay. You got a good therapist, maybe you can call in a favor, recommend a good therapist. I don't know of any, but maybe you do. I have a link, by the way, in the description down below. You're more than welcome to use it. BetterHelp. Okay, you can get some money off. You can try it out. They got some great therapists that you can work with there. You'll be all right. River Serenity Verona. And hey, welcome Jason Kitchen. My favorite room in the house. Thank you, Jason. River Serenity Verona. Like Icarus, Drew flew too close to the sun. His hubris was his downfall. Punk got his revenge, and rightfully so. Drew's World Heavyweight Championship reign, 7:30 p.m. to 7:35 p.m. Oh, poor Drew. There have been shorter runs, though. That's actually not the shortest one. JD Media says, and simply text them, Cody won. If you really want to send them off the deep end, yes. You could text these people. You could text the people who I'm sure are very much in their feelings tonight and just text them to check on them and just say, Cody won. Then they'll block your number. Bleed Boston, $10 super chat. After being booked like a dork for 2 months and losing his title, where do you think Seth Rollins goes from here? Hopefully to the institution. So he can stop coming out with all these weird outfits and the cackling and everything. He's got something going on up here. It says, I feel like he could use a couple of months off of television. The man is stale as hell. Well, if he's really hurt, he may be off television anyway. I don't know if he was just doing a good job of selling or what, but I don't know. He looked out of it there at the end of that show. Some dude. So, does Roman go home with Brandy? If he wants to get a rematch with Cody, that would be one way to piss him off and get a rematch. El Prezcat, WWE is killing it.
It's Samoa Bro.
WWE is killing it. And in Cucamonga Land. Have I checked on Issa? I have not checked on Issa. And I tried to warn her. I told her that, look, you're in for some heartbreak tonight if you think that Roman is gonna win. And she was adamant, you know, she put the finger up in the air, and I said, you're setting yourself up for some heartbreak. Don't do that. Slipper House Extra Extra. Overbooked finale was great. Long live Solomonster. I agree. Long live me. No cap. Roman versus Cody. 2 top 5 Mania top 5 Mania main event. Rodimus Prime. The most overbooked match in wrestling history, but fun. The story is finally finished. Congrats to Cody. I loved it. Alex says, Brother Solo. I may be biased here since I am a huge Cody fan, but ever since I started watching WWE in 2002, this was the best WrestleMania main event I can remember. Where would you rank it? I don't know. I don't know where it would rank. I'm not going to rank all 40 plus main events right now. It's the most fun that I've had, though, sitting here watching a WrestleMania main event. So it's pretty high up on the list. I don't know where it ranks, but I have it pretty high up on mine. Barry MK says having Undertaker instead of Stone Cold makes more sense since Roman has never done anything with Stone Cold before. No, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I know he's wrestled Roman before, but it doesn't make sense. Because he never touched Roman. Cena did. Undertaker never touched Roman, and Undertaker has not had any involvement with Roman since the Bloodline story began, and so neither has Stone Cold. So it's a wash. You can't say that Undertaker makes more sense. You know, you either think that neither one makes sense, but you can't say that Undertaker makes more sense than Austin because that's just not the case. Nick Grasso says, amazing main event, just wish that we got a Stone Cold cameo. After tonight, I think The Rock kicks Roman out of the Bloodline, and we get Rock versus Cody at SummerSlam with Roman costing Rock, setting up WrestleMania 41. That's exactly what I think is going to happen as well. I think that SummerSlam scenario is going to lead into 41 next year. Holiday 197 says, Night 2 felt like more of a WrestleMania. It had more of a big night feel. Damian Cash-In swerve on Drew was great, setting up Drew and Punk further. Joey Jojo Jr., we got a better tribute to 40 years of WrestleMania in that main event than in WWE 2K24. Boomerang. Hogan versus Austin, Mr. J. Not in today's day and age. Maybe once upon a time. I know you're not pitching the idea of an Austin Hogan match today. I certainly hope that's not what you're doing here. But yeah, there would have been a time for that to happen. Unfortunately, we never got it. But you know, that's what happened. Look, we never got Rock and Shawn Michaels either. There have been some dream matches that have slipped between the cracks. And unfortunately, we never got to see. But definitely not getting Hogan versus Austin. Boomerang says, speaking as a Puerto Rican, my favorite moment tonight was seeing Damian Priest becoming World Heavyweight Champion. First Puerto Rican WWE Champion in 50 years, and the first that I have seen in my lifetime. And I did not realize that. That is very cool. I mentioned his age and being one of the older stars to first become world champion, but that is very cool. Also says, I felt so sorry for Seth to come out in the Shield gear and music to get punked like that, but I couldn't help but think for a split second that we would see Moxley. Am I the only one? No, it just, there was a fleeting thought in my mind as well. Then I came to my senses. Actually, I had a fleeting thought that Rollins might turn on Cody, which is what some people were suggesting to me coming into this show, and I was like, oh God, please no. Please don't do it. Ragnarok, Night 2 ended on the best note possible. In the future, do you see Roman having another title reign? You know, yeah, probably. I mean, he's still young enough where I could see him being a champion again, but it's almost like, how do you top this? You know, he can just be an attraction from now on. But yeah, he'll probably have the belt again at some point. Creflo $50. To me, night 1 was pro wrestling and night 2 was sports entertainment. I'm not mad at all. I also got a lot of 1997 vibes on Raw with everybody hating everybody and the blending of kayfabe with real life. I think the blending of kayfabe with real life is a winning formula. Athletic Geek 89. A year later, I'm glad to send you a super chat where I'm not angry and drunk at how the main event ended. Hope you enjoyed WrestleMania. Love your show. I did enjoy WrestleMania, and getting drunk can be fun, I suppose, sometimes, but I'm glad that you are not angry. Many people were angry at the end of last year's WrestleMania, so I'm glad that you are happy. Philly Dry Chicken says we can get one last point to the WrestleMania sign. Yeah, well, remind me after when I'm on the other screen. You can't see it now, but because that sign is coming down. That sign is coming down tonight. So, Plus Ultra Adrian, a much better show tonight compared to last night. Loved the Bayley and Io match in the main event. Just wish that we got to hear the glass shatter near the end of the match. So do I, man. Anderson Blitz. As someone who has been watching WWE since the Ruthless Aggression era, WrestleMania 40 Night 2 might have been the greatest pay-per-view ending ever. Beautiful moment. It was a great moment for sure. A lot of real emotion there from everybody around ringside. Lady Fire Panda with the $20 says, another year, another Mania. Night 2 was 100 times better than Night 1. The story is complete, but kind of sad that Roman's reign is over. Although it's going to be weird not having him as champion. 365 days to WrestleMania 41. You know what I'm actually more surprised by than anything tonight? We still don't know the location of next year's WrestleMania. They usually announce it by now. And they have not announced where WrestleMania, unless they mentioned it in the post-show scrum, they have not announced where WrestleMania is going to be in 2025. I'm very surprised. Nick Grasso with the 1999. Hey, Nick, thank you. 1999 from Nick. I love the Bayley-Io match, and in my opinion, the best women's match of the weekend. I'm very happy for Bayley, but I don't want Io to just fall off, and now it's time to break up Damage Control because it is dragging them down. Yeah, it feels like Damage Control has run its course. I mean, you could keep the Kabuki Warriors together, but I don't know how much juice is left in the Damage Control tank. Potato Pony with the $100. Oh my god, that was the first bomb. That was the first one. 2 goats in one night. Solomonster and Samantha Irvin. Oh, and some fun pro wrestling as well. I'll tell you what, man, I'm honored to be in the same category. I don't look as good as she does, but you want to put me in the same category with Samantha Irvin, I will not argue with you. Potato Pony, thank you for the $100. Bobbert Reviews, thank you for the 32. You can always rely on Bobbert for the Judgment Day interference. Lonnie Jones, the story is complete. Jack Davis. When Snoop Dogg came out to announce the attendance and said, give me a hell yeah, I thought, yeah, you know what? I thought so too. And I was actually like, oh God, no, don't do it. Because if he would have come out then that meant he wouldn't come out in the main event. Little did I know he wasn't coming out in the main event. But I thought exactly what you did there. When he started saying, give me a hell yeah, I'm like, oh fuck, they're going to send him out there to do a segment with Snoop Dogg. Alex says, what are your thoughts on Cody's reign being a few months only and losing it and going in chase mode again and winning it back instead of having long reigns like Roman and Gunther? I don't want Cody to have a long run like Roman. He doesn't have to, but you got to give him more than a few months. Like, he has to at least go to SummerSlam. If he goes to SummerSlam and drops it, let's say, to Gunther, I think that's great. Gunther would have to be traded over to SmackDown for that to happen. But if they wanted to do Cody and Randy Orton and have Orton go heel and you could do a program with the two of them, I think that would be great. Cody and Rock would be the money match, and Cody should win that. So yeah, I mean, Cody does not need a long year plus or 2 year run, but you got to give him more than a few months. You can't take the title off Cody before SummerSlam. I think sometime this summer is fine. Give him a few months. But already we got people booking the belt off of Cody and putting him back in chase mode. He's been chasing since he came into the company. You got to give him some time with the belt before we have him chasing again. Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that Matt Hardy is officially a free agent. All right, well, good for him. Jazz Jackrabbit, was this the best ending to WrestleMania? Does it beat 30? Oh, man, 30 was a great one. It really was. I think it does. And you got to ask me this question, later on. Because right now it's kind of a recency bias that's always there. You ask me the question right now, I say yes, I think so. Adrian Pfeiffer. Cody and Roman have unbelievable chemistry in the ring. Their characters and stories play so well off of each other. The Cody and Roman dynamic is light years ahead of Roman's previous greatest rival, Brock Lesnar. It's a good point. The match that Cody and Roman had last year was excellent. Even though I didn't like the finish, I thought the match itself was excellent, and the match they had tonight was excellent as well. So they do. They have very good chemistry together in the ring. Crazy. After having 5 different jobs, 3 different apartments, 2 girlfriends, and a child, Roman's reign ends and Cody finished his story. You've lived a lifetime during that period, huh? Joey 0424. She got a great ass and got your head all the way up it. That is a great scene. I'll tell you, Heat is a great movie. If you've never seen it, it is a fantastic movie. Philly Dried Chicken. And by the way, shout out to the 38 to 3900 that are still hanging with me here to 2 o'clock in the morning, man. You guys are all in here tonight. I'm honestly happy, he says, for CM Punk being back in WWE. It is great the fact that Punk, Hunter, and Stephanie let bygones be bygones for a brighter future. Yeah, it's good that nobody's been choked out yet. Larry Jester, Drew must have knocked over Punk's diet soda. JD Media. Punk posted his own version of that gravestone theme with his face on the dude and Drew's on the gravestone. Hashtag perfect. Devin Da Vinci. It sounds like a wrestler name. Rock came out looking like Elvis. Well, he used to have the sideburns like him too, many years ago. Jacqueline Fowler with the $25 Brie mode. Early prediction that CM Punk eliminates Cody Rhodes last to win the 2025 Royal Rumble. And Cody wins back the WWE title in the Elimination Chamber, setting up Punk and Cody at WrestleMania 41. As part of the build, both got injured within 2 months of their return to WWE. I don't see Punk and Cody as the match for 41, though. I don't see it. I mean, Punk, Punk, you've got Rollins, or you've got... Punk and McIntyre will be before then, so... You've got Punk and Rollins, you've got... Punk and Roman probably would not be 41 if it's Roman and Rock. Well, you know what? By process of elimination, maybe that is the time to do Cody and Punk. If they don't do Punk and Rollins, they're going to go through Punk and McIntyre this year. And Roman is probably going to get Rock next year. So that might make it more likely that we could get Cody and Punk. I guess that's possible. Bernard with the $10 super chat. Cody and Gunther seems inevitable. Maybe a bash in Berlin. Do you think if Cody loses the belt too soon, will it hurt his reign? Does he have to have a long reign? No, he doesn't have to have a long reign, but you can't take it away from him in a month or two. When Stone Cold won the belt for the first time, He won the belt in March. He dropped it at the King of the Ring. Won it back the next night. Lost it again a few months later. And didn't get it back until WrestleMania the following year. If you look, as popular as Austin was, if you look at the length of his title runs, most of them, they're very short. He never had a long run. Rock never had like a long run as champion. They were fine. So it's not a matter of does everybody need to have a long reign to be over and to be successful. It's not a matter of that. You know, it's a matter of what you do during that run. How do you book the person? Who do you book them against? Does the person lose the belt and then win it right back? Because that's okay too. As long as you don't play hot potato with it too much. I feel like we've had so many longer runs that we need a couple of hot potato runs here. You know, where keep things interesting. Maybe bounce it back and forth for a little bit. I'm not saying go full Russo. You never go full Russo. But no, he doesn't have to be champion for a long time. Fahad, there it is. This is what I was looking for earlier. It was buried in here. Fahad with a $226 super chat that came in 2 hours ago.
Oh my god, a super chat bomb.
226.
That's a bigger bomb than the New York Mets.
Yeah, especially this season so far. Hey, Fahad, thank you. I hope he's still with us. $226 super chat. Finally, the story is finished. Great job this week, so. Fahad, I hope you enjoyed all the content. And I appreciate the support more than you know. That's right, never go full Russo, bro. Whatever you do, never go full Russo. Brandon Vasquez, arguably the best open and close to a WrestleMania ever. Not matches, though great, but just overall booking, star power, activity. Solid matches in between. Night 2 was one of the greatest nights of WrestleMania ever. Bernard, biggest commentator pet peeve. Mine was Vince's cover 1, 2, 3. Got him. Oh, no, he doesn't. Yeah, he would do that all the time. No, my biggest commentator pet peeve is when they basically predict the finish by giving it away through their commentary. So if they say, Cody's going to do it, like he's about to go for his finish, right? It's like, Cody's going to do it. He's going to win. He's going to finish his story. It's like, okay, no, he's not. I hate that. Fucking hate it. When they foreshadow what the finish is going to be by telling you the person is going to win, that's when you know they're not going to win. That's what sticks in my craw. Hey, Yun Million. You're pretty cool yourself, man. Don't sell yourself short. We only get cool people in here. Only cool people allowed in this chat. Except that pest control guy. Philly fried chicken and steak without flavor. Cody Rhodes' story is complete. It is CM Punk's turn to finish his story by main eventing a WrestleMania night. Well, that's up to CM Punk if he can stay healthy. Keeps getting hurt. If he can stay healthy, he'll main event WrestleMania one year. And if he keeps getting hurt, then he won't. Very simple. Be calm, see clearly. Finally, Bayley. Hashtag you are my girl. Easy there, big fella. Ghost. Def Rebel does not miss when... Def Rebel does not miss, he says, when making garbage themes. Kung Fu Joseph. Now we know why Bruce has not been fired. Was Cody the one that we could thank for that? Athletic Geek. You mentioned being blinded at WrestleMania 35. I was fortunate and was not in that section, so I saw AJ versus Orton in person. Sorry you could not see it in person. Yeah, so was I. I was looking forward to that match in person that night. I had to watch highlights of it after the fact. I fast forwarded through it. Clapstick 77. Love that it ended before 11. Awesome main event. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it felt like they ran short. I thought that main event was going 60 when it started. I said, oh boy, they're going the full hour. They went 45 the night before. They're going to go 60 tonight. And it went 33. It was like the perfect length for a big WrestleMania main event. Nicholas Darling, with a tear in my eye. This is my first ever super chat, and it is long overdue. Your pods and streams have carried me through hard times, and you're a constant in our lives. Thank you for everything. It's a very nice message, Nicholas. Thank you for the 1992. I'm glad that the show can be of help to you. I always say that to people when they write in with similar messages. I go, look, if there's so much content, there's so many shows that I do on a week-to-week basis now, it can be overwhelming, but you know, you never know what somebody is going through, or people travel a lot on the road, you need something to listen to. If the show can help you pass the time, I've done my job. Z. Paul Senti with the $20 super chat. All this record-breaking success, and still everyone I know hold their nose up at me for appreciating the beauty of pro wrestling. Well, I got a message that you can deliver to those people. You can tell those people they can go fuck themselves. There you go. Arabian Night 2000. Z. Paul, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Arabian Night says, do you think Cody brings the Winged Eagle back, even just for one night tomorrow? He hinted at it at WWE World. Also, Jacob Fatu sign, is he main roster or NXT first? You know what? If The Rock was going to boot Roman out of the Bloodline, and Roman was going to take some time off, I could see Jacob Fatu debuting on TV as soon as this week. Rock, you know, and the rest of them boot Roman out for disgracing the family and losing the championship, and Jacob Fatu joins as a new member of the Bloodline. Why not? I wouldn't put him in NXT. You got an opening like that, you get him on the main roster as soon as possible. You could slot him in there right away. That's what I would do. As far as the Winged Eagle, I think it's wishful thinking. I think Cody might get a custom belt, but it might be like a Nightmare logo belt. I would love it, though. I mean, you see it over my shoulder every single stream. There it is, the Winged Eagle belt. I love that design. If they wanted to put something together that was kind of an offshoot of that, it would probably still have the giant logo in the middle. But I'd love to see them try. And I know Cody's talked about it for years. Look, Cody is the one who brought back the old Intercontinental title design back in 2011, I think it was. I'd love to see it. But yeah, if Jacob Fatu really is signed, and I don't know that it's official, but apparently he's telling people that, I'd get him. I mean, dude, I'd get him on TV this week. I get him on Raw tomorrow night or SmackDown on Friday. Chris AXC. Oh, let's start with Bobby's World. Bobby's World. Thank you for the 23. Want to give Roman his props. I complained about his schedule also, but his matches were usually good to great. Stories were good to great. The reign was great. Don't know that we will see another like it in our lifetime. Yeah, the highs of the Bloodline storyline were super high. And it felt to me like in a lot of ways it jumped the shark after SummerSlam. Rock coming in and going heel injected some new life into it that wasn't there before. But before it hit that peak, you know, like the middle of last year, the Bloodline story was great. And the stuff with Sammy was great. And the build-up to Mania 39 was great. We are going to look back on this era, I think. And when we look back at the totality of that Bloodline storyline, it'll be one of the, if not the greatest story, I think, that this company has ever told, when all is said and done. And Roman was a very big part of that. Chris AXC, Triple H hit the reset button this weekend. 5 new champions. Do you think that we will ever see a reign like Roman's again? And Seth lost everything, has to go heel, no? I would think so. I think a heel turn would be just what he needs. Will we see another reign like Roman's in our lifetime? I think so. But I don't think it's going to be until many, many years from now. I mean, in our lifetime, well, I'll go for myself. In my lifetime, it has been Hogan and Roman. So that's 2. We could get a long run like that again, I think maybe in the next 10 to 15 years. I mean, I hope I live for many more years. with any luck, I'll live another 40 or 50 fucking years. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say we're never going to see it in my lifetime again, because that would indicate that I'm not going to be around that much longer. I don't want to think like that. So yeah, I hope we do. But not for a while. Anis with the $9.99. Then it occurred to me, life went full circle. Seth's betrayal chair shot to Roman sent him down the path of greatness. And at the end, Roman's payback on Seth ended his story. Ended Roman's story. Yep, that's exactly what happened. That is what happened. Shout out to Mr. J. I see. James Hollins. CM Punk feuding with Seth, Drew, and AEW. I love it. I'll tell you the match I'm looking forward to the most this week. I am looking forward to CM Punk against Jack Perry on Wednesday night. That's the match, apparently, that's being promoted. I can't wait. That's going to be something else. You missed my my rant and my segment on that whole situation on the podcast today. You missed the good one. You better make sure you go back and check that out. Simi Valley, story finished. Wrestling is indeed a love story. Leonza Duncan, if you the street fight is the worst of the night, I think if you think is what Leonza means, then you know you have an all-time great WrestleMania. Liked night 1, loved night 2. Where do you rank? I love night 2 also. Definitely stronger than night 1. As far as where 40 ranks all time, it's pretty high up on the list. Again, I don't like doing these ranking questions the night of. They're just impossible to answer. But it is in the upper echelon. It is in the upper echelon of WrestleManias, for sure. Michael was at night 2 also. Weather much better, and Jake Paul was drunk. He's healing on the crowd. Surprised it wasn't him in the Prime Bottle costume. Alfonso. I'm the biggest... Well, actually, he's got a fight coming up, doesn't he? He's wrestling. He's fighting Mike Tyson, isn't he, in July? So I guess he wouldn't take any bumps. Alfonso, I'm the biggest Cody Rhodes fan, so I'm glad he won. Do you see WWE staying as hot as it is post-WrestleMania under Triple H? Or was it just nostalgia from The Rock? Night 2 was perfection. Now, look, business was booming before The Rock came back. Business will continue to be very, very strong for WWE. Will it continue at this peak where they're literally selling out every single week? No. I mean, at some point that hot streak is going to come to an end. So instead of having 13,000 people in the building, maybe they'll have 11. You know, business is going to continue to be strong. I think this company is well positioned to keep the momentum going even if Rock disappears again for a while. Alfonso also says, no, it's the same one. How about that? Alfonso, thank you though, man. I thought they said Henry Godwin. Henny God, sending a little love. Long-time listener. Hey, Henny God, thank you. Appreciate the $2. Libido Bell with 2. Bubba Ray looking like Tim White in the stripes. He looked like a natural in that referee outfit. He just looked like a ref. Marcus Creed with the $9.99. Been a fan for 20 years. Last like half an hour or so of the show is some of the best shit that I've ever seen. I love this game solo. Been a fan of yours since high school in 2015. Marcus, thank you. High school in 2015. I have people who tell me like, oh man, I've been watching you and listening to you since I was a kid. Now I got a wife and a kid. I'm like, man, how long have I been doing this for? Just reminds me of how long I've been doing that show for. DEH Sire, storytelling at its finest. WWE has 2 stories to take them until WrestleMania, while AEW's biggest story is with CM Punk. Also happy that Julia's son. That's right, Julia is going to be coming to NXT in the next few months. Arabian Night says, should WWE focus on more time given to matches at WrestleMania over packages and entrances? Seems to be a trend in the Triple H era. No match went over 17 minutes except the main events. No, I mean, I think that's fine, actually. I think you don't want to have too many matches on the card that go long, and I think he wanted the main events to have the spotlight. One thing that is ridiculous, and you know, in WWE, it's not just about the in-ring matches. It's about the video packages, and it's about the fancy entrances. But there are times here on these pay-per-views where a match will end. It could literally be 30 or 40 minutes before we get another match, because you get commercials on Peacock, or if you got Peacock, the premium tier, you get a bunch of random WWE video packages. You get this guy, solo bushwhacker over here. Look at this, meet me with my one brain cell over here. You want to know what cavemen came from? There you go. It's the earliest version of cavemen. I forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about the packages. So they'll run these videos, and then it goes into an entrance, and then by the time you turn around, 30 minutes have gone by. That's a little much. I think they need to tighten that up a little bit. But you know, look, you just got to understand that's how WWE operates. I mean, that's their business. It's not just about the matches. The matches are almost like the backdrop for everything else. It's all about the pageantry, and it's the fancy entrances, and it's the promos, and that's what it is. You know, that's what the company's all about. You know, it's the whole thing. Jonathan Bordeaux. Seriously, 26 years and you can't give a Japanese wrestler one freaking win at WrestleMania. WWE really hates Japan. I don't know, they're bringing in Julia. I think she's going to do very well. DEH says Seth's downfall was worrying about the bloodline. Drew's was focusing on CM Punk, and Roman's was not letting go of the Shield betrayal. That is awesome. So I think the moral of the story is basically just focus on your own shit and don't worry about other people's business. Mr. J, you, sir, are the ultimate wrestling fan. Salute you, brother. The Juliet 316, how crazy will Raw be tomorrow night? I think Triple H is going to want to do this Raw show up big. This is going to be his first Raw after WrestleMania. We all know what happened with the Raw after WrestleMania last year. We know what a fucking disaster that turned into. So, the slate is wiped clean. This is Triple H's first Raw after Mania. I would like to see Raw after Mania return to form. Raw after Mania used to feel like an event unto itself. It hasn't been that way in many years. I've been to so many post-WrestleMania Raws that were just crazy. I was looking forward more to that than I was Mania some years. I'd like to see the post-Mania Raw return to that. Let's see what Triple H does tomorrow. Trey Marquis. What's going on, Trey? $10 super chat. As a day one Roman fan that had to endure Big Dog and dog food, this run meant so much to me, and I am grateful to witness this run. This was the Bruno of our generation, but I am happy for Cody. He earned it. It was the Bruno of our generation. It was the Bruno, it was the Hogan. You know, those guys reigned supreme for years and years. And you don't see title runs like that anymore until now. So that's what this run will go down as. This is basically our Bruno. Bid Moon. Total Horse Carp. Enjoy Cody versus Ivar at 10:30 on a Monday. Ivar is actually quite good. Don't be putting down Ivar now. Hey, Bid Moon, thank you. Be calm, see clearly. Bayley finisher should be the elbow drop. Yeah, why not? I mean, she's jumping off the top rope, trying to be Randy Savage. And then she turns around and hits a crappy headlock driver. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it and use the elbow. Hoffenheim. Cody finally finished his damn story, and will AEW troll us with the video, or will they show the real footage? My opinion is that they should have just left it alone. We don't know until we see it on Wednesday. I'm seeing so many conflicting reports, and supposedly it'll be the real footage, but they might use it to work Jack Perry back into the storylines on TV. I just think the whole thing is pathetic either way, but we'll see how it plays out on Wednesday. Devin from New Jersey, which reign of terror felt bigger in terms of aura and someone dethroning them? Brock in the mid-2010s or Roman from 2020 until now? I mean, because of how long it went on for, I would say Roman, but Brock matches always had an aura about them because he was protected and because there's nobody like him and he wasn't around very often. So his matches always felt different than everybody else's. But this run that Roman has been on, because it's been so long, and he also doesn't show up very often, I would say this one felt bigger. Like by the end anyway, this one felt bigger. I am Batman with that $300 bomb from we're still on messages from 2 hours ago. Am I even making a dent in this list? Batman says, I never thought I'd say those words. Batman says, Cody Rhodes finished the story. The story is complete. The crowd was so happy for Cody. Great work on all your videos, Solo. You, Rick. I do. And I rock, too. I Rick and I rock. Thank you, Batman. I've been a big fan of yours for a very long time. Stop by anytime. Alex says, with Cody's attire from tonight exhibiting many wings, do you think there is a possibility we get a redesigned modern winged eagle belt? Yeah, he was wearing wings on his way to the ring. I would love to see it, man. I really would. I'm just trying not to talk it into myself. But I would love to see it. I just want to get rid of that giant logo belt. Just anything, please. I said it last night, the Rock's Brahma Bull belt. I think it looks great. I think that belt looks great. If they could adapt a design that looks like that and just give it a different center plate, I would happily take that. Bobby's World, also my regards to NYC Demon Diva. Yes, we are all thinking about you. Wherever you may be, Issa, we are all thinking about you. Tell me where you will be sitting, Shiva. We can stop by. Chris Auditor, Triple H, says, hey, Austin, we need you for Mania 40. Austin says, am I going over? Triple H says, no, you're going to help Cody get over. Austin says, pass. Nah, I don't see Steve Austin doing that. There's some people who would do that, but I don't see Austin being one of those people. I know Austin is a Cody fan. Tyrone Dunstan, I just got home from WrestleMania. How did the Philly crowd sound tonight? Hopefully it was an improvement from the previous night. A big improvement. Much better. Much better. I hope you enjoyed the show. Bobby's World says, saw your tweet after the show. Rollins, what a geek, and I laughed so hard. Dude gets killed last night, beginning of the show and at the end twice. It's amazing. I mean, when I saw it, I almost couldn't believe it. Every time I think the man can't get any lower, they just somehow find a way to dig the hole even deeper. Xeno Slayer with the $50 Gunther bomb from earlier. There definitely was not a dry eye on me for the ending. Great WrestleMania ever. Xeno Slayer, thank you very much. You and Gunther. This live stream generates enough income to feed families. Oh man, JD Media, love the main event. This is what WrestleMania and pro wrestling is made for. Moments like this. Sucked that those was no Austin though. Damn autocorrect, huh? Kung Fu Joseph. If Rollins is injured with how bad he was buried in the Mania build and Punk promo, and this weekend, it's probably best for him to take some time off. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. ABK, there he is. There's our boy. ABK with a 400. I know I did this already, but he deserves it again.
It's ABK.
He deserves it again.
Always be killing
He's
it.
probably not even with us anymore, but hopefully he'll watch it back. ABK, oh my God. $412 super chat. Finally, Cody finished the fucking story. Good show. I could not have said it better myself. ABK said it for me. David Wilson. Rock shot a very noticeable look of disgust towards Roman when he was on the floor on the outside after the match. Do you think that that will lead to something? Keep up the great work. I think it's almost a guarantee that that's going to lead to something. There's been a lot of little hints. There's been a lot of tells in the build-up to this. So yeah, no, it's definitely going to lead to something. By the way, we are sitting, I should say, at just shy of 1,850 likes. Can we hit 2,000? Do you have enough energy left in the tank? Can we hit 2,000 before I am done with this stream tonight? Because we'll definitely get there after the fact, but I want to get there while I'm live. I want to see that number turn to 2K. That's what I want to see. Zach Jones. Here's to the most enjoyable WrestleMania in years. I have no strong feelings about the Triple H era, but I am sure as hell glad that the Vince era is over. Now, can they tell us where Mania 41 will be? Yeah. Very, very surprised we didn't get that announcement yet. Josh Worthington, but hey, Zach, thank you for the 1992. We got a couple of people who have dropped 1992 Rumble chats, so thank you for that. Josh says, this was an enjoyable Mania. Night 2 was better. I did shed a tear for Cody's win. Best wishes and praise to your work from UK, England. Well, all the way from New York, I say thank you. Thank you to the UK, where it is probably mid-morning by now. Grant Johnson with a $9.99. Grant, nothing but love, no message. Look at that. Grant, thank you. Retro KOH, do you think that there is anything to commentary alluding to Roman fighting leukemia last night? Is it possible he is still fighting it and that is part of why he... No. So what happened is, Pat McAfee misspoke. Roman Reigns is on what I would consider to be maintenance therapy for his leukemia. So when my mother had leukemia and she ended up in remission pretty quickly, actually. But she had to finish her treatment. When the treatment was over, she went on maintenance therapy. So there was still chemotherapy that, orally, that she would have to take at home, even though she was technically in remission, because a certain period of time has to go by before you are considered safe enough to stop. Roman talked about it the other day. I think he talked about it last night after the show. And he said he'll probably be on medication for the rest of his life. But he's otherwise fine. It's not like it came back or anything like that. Pat misspoke. And I know it spooked a lot of people, and I wish they would have clarified that. So that's what that means. He's on an oral medication that he takes. I don't know that there's any side effects. I don't know what medication it is. I don't know if it's methotrexate or what it is, but no, Roman is otherwise doing okay. Bret Hart, like Jerry Seinfeld said, the best revenge is living well. Roman and Tony Khan should follow that advice. Thank you for your hard work, Solo. Bret Hart, still one of my favorite names. Thank you, sir. PB and Shane, respect to Seth for keeping his word by literally and metaphorically being Cody's shield. I don't think he looked like a geek at the end. Okay, well, I think he did. But I see your point. I still think he looked like a geek. NBA DeCali. I find it interesting how Meek Mill was given a cease and desist by WWE for sampling the Undertaker theme by doing WrestleMania 40 promos. Quite the 180 by WWE. Yeah, they had Meek Mill do the opening videos. Gabriella Valentine. Hey, Solo, what do you think about the New York Mets, the new New York Mets WWE title? I think it could use more color and they could make the letters bigger. What are your thoughts? Great job on the daily wrestling reviews, by the way. Thank you, Gabriella. I like the belt. If I had space for it, I'd probably buy one. I don't know where the fuck I would put it, though. What I like about it is, from what I remember, the strap on the inside has Shea Stadium on it. And I thought that was very cool. That's the old stadium. So I like it. I think it looks good. And yeah, like I said, if I had a place to actually put it on display, I'd probably buy one, but I don't. Velvet Floor 18. Largest pop of the weekend was Undertaker's gong. As you say that, we got Daniel Garcia dancing on my screen here to the gong. A Bryan Santos just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Retro KOH, Solo is like early TNA Eric Young, scared by the pyro. ABK is killing it. It's gonna give me a heart attack is what he's gonna do. Nash DTV, just wanted to mention that AJ's new theme sucks. Get rid of Def Rebel already. Man, we got a lot of Def Rebel hate. Mystic J44. I like that this was the most wrestling heavy mania that we have had in a while. Not one dumb skit on both nights. This truly is a new era. You know, that's a great point. Normally in WrestleMania's past, you'd get the obligatory legends doing some kind of comedy bullshit in the back. We didn't get any of that this year. I like that. Another plus of the Paul Levesque era as compared to the previous one. Get rid of the bullshit. Grant Hudson with the $9.99. As much as I was looking forward to hearing the glass shatter, I still lost my shit when the gong hit. And Undertaker being looked at as conscience of the company, him laying out the Rock, or the final boss, still fits. M. Mills, thank you for the $100 super chat. Very kind of you. Can full of memes. Looking forward to the hottest Raw after Mania in a very long time. Any predictions on plot twists or cameos tomorrow night? The thing is, I don't know if they're going to do it on Raw or SmackDown, but I do think that something's going down with the Bloodline, and I think it could very well be Raw kicking Roman out of the group. We also could see someone like a Jacob Fatu debut if he is signed. I think that we will probably get an NXT call-up or two. I could see Carmelo Hayes making his way up officially full-time this week. I don't know to which brand. Beyond that, though, I have no idea. I'm just going to sit back and wait and see what they do and enjoy it. And then you get to come back here tomorrow night, and I got to go live again. And we get to talk about wrestling yet again for the third night in a row. Because the wrestling never ends. It just keeps going and going and going. Willie Mantic, 80, with the $30 Bully the Clown. Just want to say I've been listening to you since November of 2011, and I used to donate to your website, and you named me Hercules Hernandez. I just want to say I'm so happy to see a Puerto Rican like me win the championship. Yeah, again, that's something I didn't mention during the stream, but there have been a couple of people so far who have brought up that point, and it's a sense of pride for a lot of people, you know, to be represented in that way. And so that makes the moment for Damian Priest that much more special. So I think that's very cool. But Willie, thank you, man. 2011, you're one of the OGs. I've been doing this since 07. You've been with me since 2011. That's a long time. I hope that continues. Tama, yeah, you know what? I almost forgot about Tama Tonga. He's signed. Maybe Tama Tonga shows up. Grant Hudson. Grant Johnson. Man, why do I get my Grants mixed up? Grant Johnson. Honestly, Undertaker is slightly less than Stone Cold. Slightly less? Slightly less what? Slightly less filling? Fewer calories? Is he way less than him? I don't know what that means. But Grant, I'm glad you chimed in. Thank you, sir. Mike Witt with the $10 super chat. Just for a second, I thought it was Ambrose when the Shield music hit. I'm stupid. If Brock wouldn't have gotten involved in the Vince situation, I think Brock would have been in Taker's spot. No, I think Brock would have been wrestling Gunther had it not been for the situation with Vince. That's what he would have been doing. Michaelis, good morning from Greece. Just starting my commute to work. 1 hour drive. Your review will keep my company. Thank you. Wanted to contribute live once. That's very cool. This was an hour ago, so he said 1 hour drive. He's probably at the office already. But again, as long as I can keep you company on the road, man, keep you occupied. I had a 2 hour, 20-minute drive to Philadelphia the other day. Just listening to Spotify on the way. Always need something to keep you occupied, man. Otherwise, you get bored. It's no fun. No fun driving when you're bored and you're tired. Start dozing off. That's never a good thing. Bobby's World says, one last super chat to acknowledge Solo for all of his hard work this week. You are the man. Bobby, double thumbs up to you, brother. Thank you. Mr. J, there's your super chat. He's been waiting for this. Mr. J, hey, Solomonster, I'm sorry about your mom. Lost my dad recently. This WrestleMania Night 2 was awesome. Would you rather see Cody and Rock or Punk against Reigns at SummerSlam? I'd like to see both matches, but of the two, I think Cody and Rock is the way to go. And I'm very sorry to hear about your father. So my condolences. Bones Jones, are you surprised by no WrestleMania 41 announcement? I am. And the rumor has been Minneapolis or Las Vegas. I think it's probably going to end up being US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. So it's not that I don't know where it's probably going to end up being. It's just that they usually make the announcement by now, so I just wonder what the holdup is. The Dada and Boys podcast. When is the next Sound Off Gamer? When I get free time. This has been a ridiculously busy week, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm hoping this week, because I did patch it, there was another patch. I'm hopeful that the new update for the game will fix some of the issues I was having before and the crashes. So, fingers crossed. I patched it. I have not played it. With any luck, I'll be able to record something on Tuesday night or Thursday night and then get it up the next day. But let's pump the brakes here and give me a chance to rest, please. Chris Mikesell, do you think Seth and Becky will take time off, probably have another kid, and then come back by next year? Fans will miss them from being off TV. I don't know what their plans are as far as their family goes. If they want to have another kid, they both lost at WrestleMania, so I feel like now would be the time to, you know, let them take some time off and, you know, do the deal. See what happens. I don't know if they want to have another kid or not. I have no idea. Tim Dobbs, where does Roman rank on the all-time heels list? Do you think his eventual face turn will be underwhelming? I think the opposite. I think if they play their cards right, his face turn should be huge. On the all-time heels list, he's on the list. I don't have him at the top of the list though. He's not like in the elite category. Joey Jojo Jr. It's a bit bizarre that we haven't gotten a Roman versus Seth one-on-one at WrestleMania. Surely it happens before Roman retires. I don't know when he plans on retiring. You know, his health may play a role in that. I have no idea. There have been some matches over the years at WrestleMania that I thought, man, it's crazy we never got that one-on-one. Rock and Triple H is one of those matches. How did we never get Rock and Triple H one-on-one at a WrestleMania? How did we never get John Cena and Randy Orton one-on-one at a WrestleMania? The closest was a triple threat match. Right? I mean, Roman and Seth may end up being in that same category. Tyler, who do you think Cody's first feud is going to be? Well, I thought, now this is what I said on the podcast earlier today, and I actually said this in my predictions the other day as well, that I thought it was going to maybe be AJ. You know, because if Cody goes to SmackDown now, I thought if AJ were to win at Mania, that, you know, maybe slot him in there and have a match or two with Cody. Cody can beat him, and then he can move on to somebody bigger. And LA Knight went and beat AJ Styles now, so that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So, not sure right now what they're going to do. And we also have to wait to see how the draft shakes out, because they're having the draft in about a month. Joey says, or even better, Moxley comes back for one match and we make it a triple threat in the main event, right the wrong from 2016. Moxley is signed with AEW until 2027. So, not happening. Clone Force, Night 2 was fucking beautiful, and my favorite wrestler, Cody, won, and my favorite, Bayley, won. So Clone Force is a very happy man right now. Darth Panic, $23 super chat. That makes me a very happy man. Thank you, Darth. Thanks for the great two-night coverage. Now that the story is finished and we are heading into a new era, who is Cody's first title defense going to be against? Yeah, you're already having me book the territory here at 3 o'clock in the morning almost. What do you think I am, man? You think I'm a machine? I don't know. I'm looking at the because I presume it'll be on SmackDown, right? So if I look at the SmackDown roster, and who would make the most sense if Roman doesn't just get an immediate rematch? Logan Paul is the U.S. champion, right? Owens is a babyface. Orton is a babyface. Cody and Orton has to happen. I just don't feel... I feel like now is not the time. It'd be too soon. Otherwise, I would say Randy Orton. Braun Breaker... It's too soon for Braun Breaker. Jeez. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. William, I wonder if those people saying the main event was predictable would have been happy with Rock against Roman instead. Thanks for being here, Solomonster. No, they'd probably still complain and say it was predictable. Powerful one. Storyline reason. Undertaker's love and respect for the business compelled him to step in and put an end to Rock's BS. Difference between a selfish boss who demands respect and a selfless leader who earned it.
It's the amazing Gunther.
Well, that's one explanation you could go with, I suppose.
Loves Gunther, the
It's
magnificent.
Aaron.
All hail Gunther.
Aaron has brought Gunther out once more tonight with a $50 super chat drop. Aaron, man. Aaron, no sleep for Aaron here. Aaron's like, man, we're gonna drop one more bomb here, and it's gonna be mine. It belongs to me. Aaron, thank you. I'm gonna be coming up on yours here in about 58 minutes, according to this. Duff's vids, off is the direction the bloodline can fuck. Thank you, Solo, for all the streams, then, now, and forever. Congrats to Cody, Bayley, and Damian. Yes, indeed. Grant Johnson, we wanted Austin, but we got Undertaker. But really, Hogan is the GOAT, and why not that angle? Oh, are you talking about Hogan being the one to come out? Hogan can barely fucking move, dude. You see him walking around, he's got a long cane, like a walking stick. He looks like fucking Gandalf. Is that what you're talking about? You wanted Hogan in that spot? What, are you, yeah, you're mine? Have you seen him lately? Come on, Grant. Steve Mello. I have no idea who that is. No, I'm just kidding. Steve, as you know, life has not been kind to me these last few years. Wish I could contribute more, but just wanted to let you know how truly grateful I am for you and what you do. Thank you, my friend. Well, for those who don't know, Steve is responsible for a lot of the artwork that you see here on this channel. And he has been very instrumental in supporting me and what I do and in my efforts to grow the channel over these last several years. And he and I have become friends. I consider him a friend. I thank you for that. And you know how I'm always here, you know, if you ever need anything. And when life smacks you in the face, always here to talk. But Steve is one of the good guys. And a very big part of the channel, so shout out to him. He's also one of our mods, but I think enough of him that I have gifted him mod privileges. I only do that with the best. Arabian Night, you surprised for the lack of pyro and fireworks at WrestleMania? Even the new champions, Zayn, Priest, and Bayley, got none when they won. Nitpick, but strange. Honestly, I hadn't even noticed. I just assumed they were saving it for the main events to make it more impactful. So I didn't even notice that some of them didn't get pyro. Clone Force. That clone trooper helmet with Cody logo on it from Star Wars that fan had in the front row looked beautiful. Kevin Garnett. Is AJ Styles a jobber or enhancement talent now and the rest of his career? I would say he's more of an enhancement guy. I think that's his role. I think his role is to enhance whoever he works with. I do think at some point he'll get a run at a world title again, but it's just not the position that Triple H has him slotted in right now. He's just not a featured, focused guy where it's all about him. You know, I mean, that's just not what they have in mind for him. Super Pony, what do I have to do to see Omos versus Tozawa for the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event next year? Well, I know somebody who knows somebody who can get you some really strong drugs. So that might be the only one. Prepflow $50. Would Rikishi have made more sense than Undertaker since he's family and can blame Roman for his son's feuding? I think that would have been lame. No, that spot was meant for a major name. Rikishi is not a major name. That Joe guy. My first thought after the Cody win was that the promo that Dusty cut at SummerSlam in 1990. He said, pro wrestling is built on emotions. A lot of it tonight. Indeed. And that wasn't even one of Dusty's more memorable promos. Seabright 7831. Whether he said no or couldn't make it, Stone Cold missed out on participating in an epic moment in the main event. His loss, still a fantastic finish. Yeah, it kind of bugs me because would have been so perfect, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't take away from how great the main event was. BCOM see clearly the shit Bryan went to just made you feel it. Hashtag yes. That's why they called it YesWrestleMania. He also says, through my bed, Bryan made us feel it. Oh, yeah, I know what you meant. You didn't have to correct yourself, but thank you. The new one. Solo, what's up, man? Tonight was epic. Greatest night and weekend of my life. Wow. How about that? Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Were you at WrestleMania? Sounds like you were probably in the stadium at WrestleMania. Slim Yoshi with the 10 spot. I'm so happy that Cody finally finished the story. Helped that the crowd was awake. Also, I believe this is the first time Night 2 was better than Night 1 compared to the last 4 Manias. Do you agree? I think so. Yeah, it was definitely not the case last year. And yeah, typically it's been Night 1 as the stronger of the 2 nights, so this was sort of a reversal of fortune here. Kevin Dunn's Beaver is out tonight with the $2. To all the Roman fans, look at you now. That's right, you gotta throw it back. You gotta throw it back in their face. Look at you now. Look at you now. Somebody needs to trigger that row Roman Reigns gently down the stream. That's where Roman is going. What is that, the $22 one? Is it? Row Roman Reigns. Put him in the boat, send him on down the river. There he goes. Barry MK, I don't think Cody will get his own title or bring an old one back. There's a giant version of the belt that he just won at the front of WWE headquarters. Yes, there is. That's true. Gold Matthew, thank you for the super chat. Oven Heart, I got emotional with the ending. I love pro wrestling. Holiday, wondered why Stone Cold did not come out. Could we get The Rock versus The Undertaker down? Oh my God, no. Rock versus Undertaker down the line. Otherwise, maybe Taker was plan B option to interfere. He was the plan B option. Something must have happened with Austin. It didn't work out. Undertaker was the backup. Absolutely not on Undertaker and The Rock. That is not the plan. That was never the plan. That should not be the plan. Absolutely 100% no way. Brandon Vasquez, a year ago after Cody lost, who would have thought that Punk and Triple H in Celebration would have shared a ring together after a heel Rock tries to cost Cody the title just to get chokeslammed by The Undertaker? Well, not me. Not this guy. I certainly wouldn't have expected that. Gold Matthew. Long time, first time since WrestleMania 39, actually. How would you rank the new opening signature among all of them? I like it. I like it. It's got an epic feel to it. I give it a few weeks before I see it so often. It's just sort of like, whatever. But I'm a guy that goes back to when they started. My earliest memory of the signatures was, What the World Is Watching. So we're going back now to like the kind of late 80s. And then you get to the mid 90s and the logo would spring up from the ground and it's like the World Wrestling Federation, the Revolutionary, or what was it? The Revolutionary Force and Sports Entertainment. And I remember most of the signatures, but this new one that they have is good. You know, it's whatever. It's a signature. It's the first 30 seconds to open the show. I guarantee you and I are going to get tired of seeing it. It's going to become old hat. It's going to become second nature in a relatively short period of time. The new one says Lil Wayne is the greatest rapper, but his performing is not his strong suit. It's the lyrical wordplays that makes him the greatest. Okay. That was the question I asked the other night. I got so many emotional responses. It's like, all right, calm your tits. I asked the question, I pitched it to you guys. Like, again, calm down. So thank you. Thank you for the answer. See, that's a logical, rational answer. That damn panda. Been watching you since the early TV Tracks days on YouTube, from 8th grade to now. Me having a wife and a kid. Keep up the great work. Row, row, Roman Reigns gently down the stream. Row, row, Roman Reigns gently down the stream. Here it is. Ask and you shall receive. Bye-bye, Roman. You push him down. There he goes in his little boat. He looks so cute in his little boat. Look at that. Thank you, brother. Row, row, Roman Reigns gently down the stream of irrelevance. Kidding, of course. I like Roman. I like Roman, but it was time. The Data and Boys podcast. Rollins told Drew, "You fucking deserve it, man." That what he said? All right. Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what he mouthed to him. Be calm, see clearly. Columbus, Ohio wants a WrestleMania, please. You're not getting a WrestleMania. Cleveland is getting a SummerSlam. You're not getting a WrestleMania in Ohio. Not for a long time. BW Roses. WrestleMania 40 was good. Rock was not happy with Roman after he lost. Looks like we're getting Roman and Seth. And Cena Solo 2 very soon down the line. Holiday says, all in all, a good WrestleMania. Let's hope that they set up some good directions for Cody and Priest. Looking forward to the Drew and Punk fallout. Yeah, that is one of the more interesting stories that I'm looking forward to seeing play out, is Drew and Punk. Because again, Drew has been doing just fucking bang up shit, man. I'm a huge fan of Drew. And Punk is Punk, so you know the promos are going to be good. You know that it's going to be interesting between those two. The trolling has been on point. Slim Yoshi says, so which title does Gunther go after? I would have him dethrone Cody, and after that, have Gunther and Sammy run it back the following year. Thanks for the great work, Solo. Hope you get some good sleep. I'm going to try. I feel like they've ruined it already as far as Sammy and Gunther. He beat him. He already beat him. You know, if Gunther had beaten Sammy, you could run it back for the world title at some point and have Sammy beat him. And I feel like they kind of killed my interest in that, to be honest with you. But yeah, a lot of it depends on where things land in the draft. We'll see if Gunther gets drafted to SmackDown, which is where I presume Cody is going to end up now. Aaron with that $50 Gunther chat. Tonight was perfect. Finally, Cody gets his moment. When does Randy RKO Cody? Oh, it's coming. It's coming soon. I don't know when, but it's coming. Bird City. Do you think Tama Tonga will debut on Raw? Yes. I think he probably will. Hernandez. Hey, Solomonster. Been listening since episode 316. Trying to remember what year that was. I just did 856. So what year would 316 have been? Will Chisholm. I bet Triple H pitched HBK super kicking The Rock, and The Rock shut that shit down. I'll bet that he didn't. And Rock and Shawn Michaels have made up. They made up many years ago, so they're cool. BCOM see clearly Ohio Stadium hosts a WrestleMania 102,000 sellout. Yeah, no, I don't see Ohio getting a WrestleMania for many more years. Aaron with a $20 super chat. Before the stream ends, just want to say thank you for everything. You shaped my childhood and are the biggest reason I am a wrestling fan still. Solomonster for life. Well, I'm glad you're still a wrestling fan because you got to enjoy tonight's main event. That's what it's all about, man. The Juliet, $22 Roman Reigns says Cody said in the presser that after the match, Triple H, Nick Khan, and Bruce Pritchard presented him with a watch that apparently Dusty pawned so that Cody could go to acting school. So they found the watch? I need to know more about this. Is it like the watch that Dusty pawned, or is it the actual watch that Dusty pawned? Because that would be fucking incredible. If they somehow found the watch that Dusty pawned, I'm not sure that that makes any sense. But that would be incredible. I gotta see this. Barry MK says, if you have the time, you should see the video WWE Desire My Sacrifice 2024 edition. The AJ Universe made. It's very well done. I will try to check that out. I used to love those My Sacrifice videos. Classic Steve. 10 plus year listener. Thanks for the podcast. Thank you, Steve. I like your name, by the way. Classic Steve. I like it. Apparently, it's the actual watch. Wow. Now, I remember Cody said that he wanted that watch. He figured he was going to inherit it one day. But then he found out that Dusty pawned it, and obviously he was heartbroken by that. So the fact that they were able to track down the watch. Wow. That's pretty cool. It does, right? It sounds like an episode of WWE Most Wanted Treasures. Well, if it's the actual watch, I don't know if, again, I question whether or not it's the actual one. Maybe it's like a very similar version of it. But, I mean, if they somehow found the actual one, that would be incredible. Duff's Vid says, if WrestleMania 41 is in Minnesota, do you think we will get Brock against Gunther as one of the main events for one of the world title belts? I don't know if it'll be for a belt, but I do think Brock will be back by then. I think we'll get Brock and Gunther at some point, so 41 would be a good bet. Don Juan, been pitching. Pitching? That says watching. How did I say pitching? It's very late. Been watching since I was 6 and in first grade. I'm 30 now. Thank you for everything, Solo. I want to be like you when I grow up. My childhood hero. Wait a minute. Don Juan, thank you. Trying to make me older than I am. Thank you, Don Juan. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the Super Chats. That is probably the longest Super Chat roll call I've ever had. Which is great. I love it, but wow. I was not expecting that. We got another one coming in. Trying to keep me around. TK Banks has a $5 one coming in. Stone Cold was too busy with his chicken Rudy to lay an egg. Those Instagram videos are hilarious. I got worried. I thought maybe something happened to Poncho the cat. I usually follow for his Poncho videos on Instagram. So hopefully everything is okay at home base with all of the animals. I hope so. Well, I had set a modest goal for Be the Booker of 1,000 likes. I said, man, it would be nice if we could hit 1,000 likes during the live stream. We are now less than 100 away from 2,000 likes. We're not quite there yet. We're at 1938, but man, you guys have just fucking killed it here. So I can't thank you enough. And I know I've kept you long enough. Let's go ahead and not wait any longer. Let's Be the Booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to Be the Booker.
That right there is the sight from night one. Rock still has his belt. Roman no longer has his. I'm telling you, look at that Brahma Bull belt, man. He's got the 3 plates on one side, 3 plates on the other. I really like that belt. Tell me that belt is not nicer than the one Roman is holding up. All right, here we go. Be the Booker. Maybe we'll even bust out a stipulation here since it's a special occasion. Tag team Be the Booker, we begin with the Powers of Pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian, with Mr. Fuji I remember when they did the Demolition Powers of Pain double turn. That was a big deal for a young Solomonster. There's a young Solomonster right there, in fact, in that super chat. All right, the Powers of Pain are going to be taking on the Beverly Brothers. Not exactly a marquee match. The Beverly Brothers did have a devastating finishing maneuver. The Shaker Heights Spike was a scary finish, if you ever saw it. If you have not, make sure you go on YouTube and check out the Shaker Heights Spike compilation videos that I think are up there. Very scary. All right, women's Be the Booker now. We begin with Kairi Sane, that beautiful, insane elbow drop. Always love that elbow. All right, Kairi Sane. That's right, Von Wagner Sr. That's right, Von Wagner's dad. I think is Bo, right? Bo Beverly. Kairi Sane going to go one-on-one with Sasha Banks. There you go. There you go. There's a WrestleMania match right there. And now it is time for the main event. We are going to pick a stipulation for the main event. That's my gift to you. We'll pick the stip first, find out what kind of match it's going to be. Let it run, circle, circle, circle. Where it's going to land, nobody knows. We picked the Fight Pit. We are booking ourselves a Fight Pit match here in this WrestleMania main event. And no, we did not land on Hogan. That doesn't count. All right, can you imagine Hulk Hogan in the Fight Pit? That would be hilarious, actually. All right, here we go. We begin with Roosh, who has been out for several months now. We have not seen him in AEW since the Continental Classic. But we have Roosh in our Fight Pit match. I think actually Roosh would thrive in a match like that. And let's see who he takes on. It's going to be Roosh one-on-one in the Fight Pit with Razor Ramon. Bet you never thought we'd be booking Razor Ramon and Roosh in a Fight Pit match, but that's exactly what we just did. I like that match. 2 for 3. Not a bad night. Not a bad night for Be the Booker. Not the best night, but not a bad night. Razor Ramon and Roosh. I kind of feel like Roosh would kill him. I feel like he would kill him in the Fight Pit. Scott Hall, though, you know, he was a big guy. Physically taller, you know, bigger than Roosh. But I feel like that would probably be a win for Roosh in that match. Some final super chats here. Aaron chimed in with one last one here. And Aaron says, I've been listening since 2010. Thank you for all the years and memories. Something about tonight is making me emotional. You are the best, man. Well, Aaron, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. A lot of emotion on the people's faces at the end of that pay-per-view. So you are certainly not the only one. Justin G, I think I had a birthday during the super chat reading. Yes, I think I probably gained about 3.5 years in age during that super chat read. And look at that, still no wrinkles. Still look pretty good. Adrian Pfeiffer. One of the silliest opinions I've seen is people saying Cody's title reign will end up like Kofi Kingston. Yeah. My advice to you is not to listen to those people. Those people do not know what they are talking about. So it is better not to listen to those people. Retro KOH, Hulk Hogan in the Fight Pit, kind of like when he allegedly fought Pride fighters in the 70s. Well, he didn't fight them. He had an offer to do Pride, which didn't even exist back then. There's a difference. He did not even have a Pride fight, but he came close. Because they took one look at Hogan and they said, man, we need you for this. That is just the craziest thing. His lies know no bounds. Be calm, see clearly. Said, we get to see a fight on Wednesday. Fun shit. I don't even know what else to say about it. I think I said my piece on the podcast today, but good Lord. Good Lord. You know, again, there's a lot of conflicting reports about whether it'll be a troll job or the actual footage. I think it'll probably be the actual footage, most likely, but, you know, just the fact that we're sitting here right now even talking about that 7 months after the fact. You know, CM Punk was on the pay-per-view tonight playing a role in the championship match, and they're using him to pop a rating on Wednesday. Oh my God. Oh. I swear to God. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Boots at 3:04 a.m. just lit it up with a $400 super chat bomb. That is true, by the way. It's only midnight on the West Coast, but my God, $400. Boots, he's putting boots to asses. He just put his boot to my ass. Does Paul Heyman betray Roman Reigns now that he is no longer the champion? I'm still reeling from this super chat here. Paul Heyman is a survivor, and he will bounce from one person to the next and do whatever, self-preservation to survive. If Roman gets kicked out of the bloodline, then I think Paul Heyman will end up with somebody else. I don't know who that would be, but I'll tell you something. We know Rock is not going to be around every week. Roman's not going to be around every week. If Heyman is going to still be with the bloodline, though, and if Jacob Fatu were to come in, what if Paul Heyman was in the corner of Jacob Fatu as they try to build him up as a big deal as part of the bloodline? And he had Heyman with him. What do you think about that? I actually think that would be pretty cool. Boots, though, man, I'm all out of words here. Like, I was not expecting that. Wow. Especially after the ABK bomb from earlier. Both you guys, man, are just amazing. Thank you very much for that. That's a hell of a way to close things out tonight on what is by far the biggest WrestleMania stream that I've ever done. You guys really, you really delivered tonight. And the Dada and Boys podcast, let's keep Solo up. It is only 12:04 a.m. after all. It may be 12:04 where you are. It's 3:07 where I am. And I was supposed to be up at 7:30, so that's obviously not going to happen now. So we'll figure it out. Is anyone watching the solar eclipse tomorrow? Oh man, I forgot about that. I didn't get my glasses. I think they have special glasses for it. I know, it's incredible. 3,000, over 3,100 people are still with me here, well after 3 a.m. And that is very cool. That is very, very cool. Well, look, we have gone 3 hours and 40 minutes here. The biggest and longest WrestleMania stream that I have ever done, thanks to all of you crazy people. Thank you very much for making this a very fun weekend. Very busy weekend, very tiring weekend, but very fun. We're not done yet. We're not done. We had the night 1 stream. We had the night 2 stream. I did a podcast 2 hours earlier today. And we still have Raw. And I have a feeling it's going to be a big episode of Raw in less than 24 hours. Live again with you immediately after Raw for the post show on Monday night. So I expect many of you to be back here with me. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm looking forward to it. And there'll be more content as usual, clips and whatnot going up on the stream this week. I will try to do another Sound of Gamer. I make no promises, but I want to move that ahead. So I will try for the final time here in 2024. There it is. I point to the WrestleMania sign. wave goodbye, because that's the last time you're going to see it. So wave goodbye to the sign. Hey, Devin from NJ with a $4.99. My friend says that Punk told his side of the story. AEW should show theirs. What are your thoughts? Not on their television show. Unnecessary for it to be on Dynamite. I didn't see Punk go on Raw or SmackDown to tell his side of the story. Tony Khan wants to put a statement out. He can put a statement out. Aaron says, Jacob fought 2 versus Cody at WrestleMania 41. The man hasn't even debuted yet in the company. I don't want to start booking him yet until I know for sure that he's in. Let's play it by ear and see what happens. All right, guys. I'm going to head out of here. Do I keep the signs? I keep a lot of stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I do keep a lot of stuff. Be well. Stay safe. Thank you to the 3,000 plus still with me, hanging with me, I mean. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to get some sleep. Thank you for the fun review. I will see you for the Raw post show on Monday night. You're all crazy. I love you guys. I'll see you Monday night. Take care.